Oh, really? MashaAllah. Welcome to the family, brother. Yeah. Now all the women are gonna come. What's your name, brother? Rico. Good to meet you, bro, man. Well, it's fantastic that you've come.
I've seen a lot of your debates.
Really?
I've seen you debate Cosmic Skeptic. I've seen you debate. I know you don't like what's his name, Apostate Prophet. You don't like him.
Yeah.
But you have some arguments for resistance to God. I think you said you studied the contingency.
Yeah.
In the process of studying it,
Yeah.
Just not too sure how the contingency argument can result in a God that has agency. And two, I think the contingency argument is just going to be self-defeating for a couple of reasons. I think you're probably aware, but it entails a modal collapse.
Not really, I don't think so, because the thing is like, look, all we're saying with the contingency argument is one thing, yeah? There cannot be a state of affairs where the only thing that exists are dependent things. That's all we're saying.
You're saying, so you have a particular type of PSR, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, if you're talking about Leibnizian PSR, and that's one way of doing it.
Schopenhauer's PSR as well.
Yeah, that's fine, but I'm saying that Leibniz is the one who really, like, you know, he's the one who I can't say founded it, but certainly he's the one who kind of made it big.
PSR is going to entail a modal collapse.
The thing, why would you say that?
Well,
why would you say that? Yeah.
Look at this.
Go on.
Take the first contingent fact.
Okay.
Now, the necessary being is going to explain the first contingent fact some way. Now, the question we can ask is, in virtue of the necessary being, does it explain the first?
What do you mean by that?
So we're going to say that there's going to be something about the necessary being is going to explain the contingent fact, the first contingent fact.
No, but the first contingent fact already assumes a finite number of them.
No. We're just saying the first one. Like, just say, for example, like
a contingent fact.
A contingent fact. Or just
okay, a contingent fact. Fine.
We're saying we have a necessary being.
Well, are we talking about facts here? Or are we talking about things with ontological status, actual things?
Excuse me.
Sorry.
There's no big issue. Hi again.
Hi.
So you said.
Are we talking about facts only, or are we talking about things?
Oh, so the PSR is going to deal with events, objects, facts.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Yeah.
So we're saying
anything contingent.
Yeah. So we're going to say it's going to be in virtue of.
But remember, the PSR is going to deal with. It's usually the way Leibniz does it. Is using explanation. So, for example, you'll say that if this bottle exists, it must have an explanation outside of itself.
It's going to be a grounding relation, right?
Pardon?
It's just going to be like a grounding relation of some sort.
A what?
A grounding relation.
Yeah, I mean, yes.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
Fine. But what we're saying still is that.
But you understand that obviously, if we just do like basic modal logic within like let's just take like a K axiom.
Fine.
The first axioms.
Fine.
We're gonna have the distribution axiom. So it's gonna be if A entails that B. If A is necessary, well, then it's going to entail that B is also necessary.
Okay, fine.
So, so that's just going to entail.
You're talking modus ponens here. That's it.
Yeah, but we're talking about first of all, we're just talking about like the first basic.
That's not modal.
No.
That's not a modal point.
No. In modal logic.
What about modal logic?
In modal logic, we have what we call the distribution axiom.
Okay, so what about the distribution?
It's going to be implication statement.
Give me an example of what you mean.
So let's just say, for example,
P implies
Q.
We can say P implies Q, but let's say P. But we're not just saying P implies Q.
Yeah.
P is necessary. But anything that's necessary and that sufficiently explains what it entails.
Okay, fine, but no problem. But what you're talking about is modus ponens, all right?
Yeah.
If P equals Q and P therefore Q, that's modus ponens.
I'm not saying P equals Q. I'm not saying that it's identical.
So what are you talking about?
Maybe I can clarify, right? So
that's modus ponens.
I apologize, by the way. I don't mean to lie.
No, go ahead.
Yeah. First of all, how you doing?
How you doing? You okay? What's your name?
Doing alright. Sig. I was the guy that you talked to some months back.
I can't remember. Yeah.
That's coming. Anyway, the point is this though. What he's trying to say.
But hold on. When you talk about modal logic, by the way, are you using a model where there's all possible worlds?
Well, yeah, that's something we use. Yeah.
Okay.
We can assume possible worlds.
So all possible worlds.
We're not talking about
an infinite amount of possible worlds.
We're not talking about David Lewis's possible world theory. I'm talking about
No. But even if you don't, no. Hold on. David Lewis believed in modal realism. No, but I'm not talking about David. You don't need to assume modal realism to still employ what is referred to as possible worlds. You can still have a possible worlds theory of. And use it instrumentally.
But I don't think that's what he's talking about.
No. But I was asking him a question.
Yeah, sure.
That when you're using your modal apparatus, are you using a possible worlds framework?
When I say possible worlds, I just mean in contrastive facts. So the PSR is still going to be contrastive. So in virtue of a contingent object, we can ask the question: why does it exist as that way rather than another one, that's still going to be assumed in the PSR. So the question is, look, in virtue of, because it depends on, you take God to be an agent, correct?
Yeah, but that's aside from the contingency argument.
No, it's not actually.
No, it isn't.
No, it's crucial to the contingency.
No, it's not.
100% is.
No, it's not, because it's well, we can make the contingency argument and make a separate argument. Like traditionally, that's what's been done medievally, right? You make a contingency argument and then you make a different argument. For example, there's arguments from specification or particularization.
Okay.
That argument is usually made as a standalone argument, which acts as a corollary to the contingency argument.
Even when you make corollaries for arguments, just so that the audience can understand, you make a corollary specifically because there's something in the first argument that you use that it doesn't cover.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, so what isn't being covered in the contingency argument?
The agency aspect,
Right, so
the will aspect.
Right, so you can't prove agency by PSR, you're saying?
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean,
okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Purely, yeah.
But what's going on is, for example, right? Sorry, just to catch me up. So you guys talk about
Well, you cannot.
I'm trying to-
Yeah,
I'm
I
trying to
agree with
show
that.
them that
You cannot
how-
prove agency necessarily in a convincing manner
So look-
using the PSR alone or using a continuous argument alone. I don't think so.
You may be
you
able
don't
to, but
deny.
that's-
I don't think so.
You don't deny the essential properties of necessary beings entail that which they explain.
What do you mean?
So, I'll give you the actual.
Yeah, in a sense they do. In a sense they do.
Well, then
From
that's
one
gonna be a modal
perspective.
collapse.
No, it's not. Because, no.
100% is.
No, you're saying that.
Oh,
but
I
let
get
me-
what you're talking about. Yeah.
No, I can see what you're saying, but
If you're going to give a weak
Go on.
version of the PSR,
Yeah.
well, that's fine. Right? Well, not necessarily.
explain to me why it's going to be a modal collapse.
So
Why?
the reason why it's going to be a modal collapse
Yeah.
is because the contingency argument
Yeah.
argues from contingent objects to
a
a necessary
necessary
being.
object.
Fine.
To a necessary
So
being
what?
object. So the point is that if in virtue of the object, either what explains the contingent fact
Is necessary.
is an essential feature of the object, well then in all possible
of the
worlds
necessary object.
of the object, yeah. And,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
in this case, it's going to be in virtue of something like desire, right? Now, the desire can either be an essential property of the object, or it can be a contingent one.
Right,
If it's a contingent one,
Say that again. Go back on board.
in virtue of the object.
What object?
Oh, the necessary
The
being.
thing itself.
We're not proving that. We're not starting with that.
No.
We're not starting
no,
with that.
No,
though.
I'm
You're
saying,
saying-
I'm
wait,
saying,
hold on.
I'm going to grant the argument.
No,
I'm
no,
going
but-
to say it's going to entail a view that you're not going to want to.
No, but you're not explaining why.
I'm saying why.
Why is it?
Look, first of all, there's two things that's going to be entailed by
Okay.
contingency argument.
Well, hold on. Let me explain. Let's explain what you understand by the PSR first. Explain it to the public. What do you understand? What is the PSR? What does it stand for?
PSR
What does it stand
the
for?
principle of sufficient reason.
Okay, excellent.
For any
Yeah.
object O, if O exists, there's a sufficient reason why O exists.
Okay.
For every proposition P, if P is
So,
true, there's a
sufficient reason.
why P is true.
So what?
For
Okay,
every
okay. Hold on.
event E, if E occurs,
But before we
there's
get
a
it,
sufficient
before we get there, because I know that it's going to be lost in
That is
time.
the strong version of the PSR.
Okay, fine. Let's stick with that.
Actually, that's a good question. Do you accept strong or weak? Yes.
Yeah,
No, let me
what
get
do you
there.
accept?
I don't really use the PSR like that.
But no, hold on.
No, I don't
The
use it.
contingency
No,
argument-
it's not. No, it's
Wait,
not.
but that's
No, it's
important,
not.
that's important. So
No, I
he's
don't
going
use.
to have to make
Hold
the
on.
argument that the PSR is distinct from the
No,
contingency.
If you deny the
No,
PSR,
no, you're
then
not.
you can't use contingency.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
not true.
interested.
That is not.
That 100% is true.
So you're telling me? Why? Why are you telling me that?
Oh, the
Why are you telling me that?
argument-
No, hold on.
argument-
Why are you
Yeah,
telling me that?
Oh, because that's just going to be.
No, but so
principled
you
by
think
the-
sorry, excuse me. You think Leibniz in the 15th century? Excuse me. Let me finish.
Yeah, go on.
The coinage principle of sufficient reason, yeah, which let's just say for the sake of argument started in the 16th century in the Enlightenment period, yeah. Do you think that coinage is the first and only expression of the contingency argument, or an argument from contingency that has
that's
been
not
done
what
across?
he's
that's
saying.
not what I'm saying.
Good.
Aristotle
No,
came up with
excellent.
the first
So because
contingency kind of
the reason
proposal.
why,
I got this.
excuse me. The reason why I say that is because you started off by saying that you accept the PSR? I'm saying that. Yeah, it's an
You
interesting.
say maybe. That's
No.
what
I'm saying you can make a contingency argument without the PSR.
Okay. That's the important point.
That's the important point. Now, let me explain why.
Okay.
Okay, you've got two different concepts. You've got let me say three different concepts.
Yeah.
You've got the idea of explanation.
Okay.
The word explanation. You've got the word causation, and you've got the word dependency, and you've got the word contingency. These are four different words. Now, I'm not saying, are these words synonyms?
Well, he's arguing that.
No,
they're
hold on,
distinct.
excuse me. Let me just finish. Are these words synonyms or not?
Oh, I'm going to take it that they're not.
They're not synonyms. They're not. So a cause is different from a dependent thing. A dependent thing is different from an explainable thing. An explainable thing is different from contingent thing. So there are some things that a contingent thing has that a dependent thing doesn't. In explanation, there's some things that an explanation has that a cause doesn't. In explanation, in definition, right?
Actually, highlight one of those.
Hold on. Now, the PSR depends fully on the idea of explanation. Because if we're going to say, for example, that this bottle here, it has to have an explanation outside of itself. Now, the key word being what? Explanation. I can grant you one thing. Because when I was looking at it, Mario Bunge wrote a book on causation. It's one of the magnum opuses on the subject. Actually, very good on this. Yeah, and he says that he looks at all the definitions of causation. He says causation is the following: is the power of C to is the power of C equals E.
C equals E. Okay.
And so he's basically saying that if A then B, if A then B,
There you go.
yeah,
But that's what we
if
said
A then
P
B,
then Q, right?
yeah,
So-
it's the same thing. If A then B, right?
Yeah.
Which if A, then there's a relationship of conditionality between this and that, right?
That's true.
It's gonna be a
So
Tama relation.
explanation is
That's an
there.
entire relation.
It's-
That's an exponent.
Yeah, accepted. I'm saying that's what I'm saying to you. I'm granting you that much.
But-
But hold on, a cause is not the same as a dependent thing, because a dependent thing is by definition something which relies on something else. A cause, by definition, is something which brings rise to other phenomena.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, excellent.
So
So
what
now
I'm saying
all
is
I'm
that-
saying is the following. I'm putting to you right now that you can make an argument from dependency, which is effectively an argument for contingency, because traditionally it was called that. Yeah.
You said that they're distinct terms.
No, but it was traditionally it was called that.
All cosmological arguments, okay?
No, but it doesn't have to. No, now you're bringing a new key term in. Let me finish. Just let me finish the point. The point is this: you can make an argument for dependency that is completely bereft of concepts of PSR. For example, I can make the following proposition: the proposition that this is the argument in one sentence. My argument. This is my argument. If you want to engage with it, you can. There cannot be a state of affairs where only dependent things can exist. That's the argument.
Okay.
Now, this argument is bereft of the PSR
Why?
because the word explanation is not being used at all here.
It doesn't have to be.
It doesn't
That's-
have to be
no,
used.
but
What
why
you're
it does.
saying- you're
Yes, it
saying
does.
is-
It's
wait,
presupposed.
if I
No,
could-
it does.
If I could just explain. So
Principles, reason, explanation.
You're saying
Explanation.
That,
You have to explain.
So the point that you're making, right?
Yeah.
You're saying that the PSR is going to be bereft of the argument that you made here, that anything for all that exists, there cannot be only that which exists, which is contingent. Right?
Say again?
Sorry. For anything that exists, there cannot be only that which exists, which is dependent. Or contingent.
I haven't put it that way.
You haven't said dependent or contingent?
No, I haven't put it in the language you just put it. You just
That's fine. I'm rephrasing it.
Don't
That's
rephrase
fine.
it. I didn't say it the
What
way
exactly?
you
That's
said
fine.
it.
That's fine.
No,
You
no,
can
no.
just say
No,
exactly.
my articulation was different.
That's fine.
I
I agree with it. I said that I was rephrasing.
No, but my
rephrasing, we're just going to keep the same content. It's not really.
not
that.
really. I don't want it in that way.
Okay, that's fine. Then what's the way you
As
want
long
it?
as it entails the same.
No.
Yeah, if it tells the same thing, it's fine. But if he wants it
Not
in specific
necessarily.
terms, then
No,
it's
I'm saying
fine.
as long as it does.
Why? Who said that?
No, I'm saying.
So
look,
as
if
long
he-
as if I said something and you said something
Yeah.
and I said it in a different way, if what I'm saying entails the exact
No.
same relation as what
Argumentatively,
you're
that's
saying,
not the
then
case.
it's fine.
Because argumentatively, two things can tell the same thing, but one is argumentatively true and one or can be valid, and one is argumentatively invalid.
Yeah, but both premises, but the argument itself can
No,
still be
so
sound
that's what you're saying is false.
valid.
Because I can say something.
Wait, do you think there's a distinction between soundness and
And
validity?
validity.
No, I don't.
There's no wait, no. There is a distinction between validity and
No,
soundness.
of course. Sound
Right,
is
but you
true
said no.
premises.
Look, so-
A valid thing is something which obeys the laws of logic, and a sound thing is something which has true premises.
It's actually true.
And it's valid as well.
It's true and valid.
Yeah,
So
valid
you can
as well.
have something that is valid without it being
Yeah,
true.
of course. Yeah.
Right, that's what we're saying. But what
Okay,
we're
but
saying
what I'm
is,
saying to you is,
Yeah, go on.
what I'm saying, I'm not sure if we're talking cross purposes or you're doing this on purpose.
No.
All I said is the following: is that there cannot be a state of affairs where only dependent things exist. Now, do you understand this?
Yeah, there cannot be a
Okay.
state of affairs where only dependent things exist.
That's my argument.
That's important.
That's my
That's your argument, right? Your argument, right? Remember, you said it's bereft of the PSR. Now you're gonna have to explain what you mean by bereft of the PSR.
No, I'm not. I didn't say bereft. I said
You
bereft.
did. You said bereft.
Let me-
You did say
I'm
bereft
saying
of
that
the
when I
PSR.
say we started off by saying 4 different key terms: causation, contingency, explanation, and dependency.
And then you said something.
Now, what
about
word
PSR.
did I use in this sentence?
Right. You are specifically using dependence.
Okay, excellent. So I didn't use the word what?
Explanation.
I didn't use the word explanation, did I?
Right.
Okay, excellent.
But that
so
doesn't mean that it's not
hold on.
bereft of the
No,
PSR.
no. I used the word dependent. I did not use the word explanation.
And we're granting that for
Okay,
you,
excellent.
but your argument still has to
No,
use the PSR in some way.
No, it doesn't.
Absolutely.
No,
Because if you say that
If
that's
the
a
PSR
statement.
No.
Wait, hold on.
No.
So look, the
No.
fact that he said
No.
this, the problem
No.
is this.
No.
If I may explain, I can explain to you
Okay,
why
go ahead.
it entails
Go ahead.
PSR. Just to clarify, when you're saying
Yeah.
it's when I am understanding what you mean by bereft of the PSR, that means that in the argument that you're using,
Yeah.
the PSR cannot be applied in any sense.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Neither, and even if that's not what you're saying, there's
No.
another thing. There's another entitlement.
So let me explain
that
it then.
It cannot be implied in any sense.
No, that's not what I'm saying though.
Right. So what are you saying
What I'm
specifically
saying,
that
no,
is
what I'm-
bereft of the
no,
PSR?
let me explain it.
Explain that.
Let me explain it very clearly.
Yeah,
for you.
go on.
The PSR is an articulation of the contingency argument that was put forward by Gottfried Leibniz, okay, and those who came after him. Do you understand me? Yeah.
The
Okay.
PSR
Excuse me.
The PSR is a principle.
I
It may
know,
have been
but
coined by Leibniz.
are
It's not
you
restricted.
listening to me?
I am, of course.
Oh, excellent. So the PSR has a very particular articulation which depends on principles of sufficient reason, but also the idea.
Articulation is
Well, look,
the
you're talking about the
PSR.
historical context.
No, excuse
just
me.
talking about the
no, but that's
statement.
what I'm saying. I'm saying to you that yes, the word contingency is used. Causality is used in some of his books. So, yeah, because if you-
That's not as important.
allow
as the
me
actual
to
PSR
allow
itself.
me to finish.
Yeah, go on, of course.
Allow me to finish. Yes, he even uses the word causation.
Yeah.
I've looked at his books. Like the word, what's it? Monadology. That's the books that he wrote.
Oh, monadology.
Yeah,
Yeah.
his book is called Monadology, right? I've looked at the articulation of the argument in that book, and I've looked at it in other books. And what I've seen is that he uses the terms explanation, he uses the terms causation, and he uses the terms contingency. These are the terms that he's using.
Sure.
I'm postulating to you now, all I said to you in the beginning was, it is possible to articulate versions of a contingency argument without explicit reference to these key terms. And, wait, excuse me, that the definitions of these key, no, it's not fine, because the definitions of these key terms are different. So for example,
Okay.
what does the word dependent mean? If you go on even a vernacular definition of the word dependent, dependent thing is something which
Which
depends.
vernacular?
Vernacular, go on a dictionary definition,
Oh,
Oxford
sorry.
Dictionary, right?
That's right.
If you are like a layman's, if I go now, someone right,
You mean
go
a colloquial definition?
or whatever.
Yeah,
Vernacular
it's
is a synonym.
Yeah.
Go and find online what the word dependent means in human language, in English language. It means something which relies on something else for its existence.
Yeah.
Something which relies upon something else for its existence.
fine.
Now it's different for me to say this bottle depends on something else for its existence, then for me to say this bottle requires an explanation outside of itself in order to what do you call it? A bottle depends on an explanation outside of itself in order to be explained,
Okay,
to be explicable.
There is a point.
So
there
that's
that-
what I'm saying to you. Excuse me.
It's fine,
All
it's
I'm
fine,
saying
please.
to you is, if you want to deal with the argument at hand, my articulation of the argument, although I can defend the PSR, I haven't got a problem with it. I think it's a good argument. It's not really the argument of choice for me. The argument of choice for me is using my articulation. You want to deal with it, you can.
Yeah.
My argument is as follows. It's simple as this. You cannot have a state of affairs. It's a postulation. I'm postulating. I'm saying to the people. I'm saying to you. You cannot have a state of affairs where only dependent things exist. Okay, because it leads to a range of different absurdities. Now we can talk about those absurdities if you like. Contradictions and absurdities and problems. That's what I'm saying.
You just
So
used
then,
the PSR. You just did it. So hold on. Alex, please,
I don't
please.
think you're. I
If
don't
it's
think you
okay,
understand
look,
what I'm
look,
saying
look,
to you.
this is the problem.
I don't think you understand what I'm saying.
No. You made
It's
a
similar to the
postulate.
PSR.
If
It's
I can
similar.
finish, right? So we gave you like really good ample time to speak, and I appreciate the fact they gave ample time to speak. I don't have water, but I'm thirsty, but it's fine. Here's the point. No, it's irrelevant. I was just making a joke. It's like irrelevant. I'm trying to keep the thing going.
Okay, go ahead.
So, you said to everyone with the huge arms that you have that you made a postulate, right? With my skinny arms, I'm going to say that your postulate has to require the PSR for it to make sense. So when you say
okay,
the
show me how.
postulate, for example, that, and I'm gonna try and see if I can remember exactly the words that you said, because again, there's a
There
problem with
cannot be
definition.
a state of dependent things in reality.
Yeah.
No, I didn't say
no.
that.
So-
There
I didn't say
cannot be
that.
a state of affairs where every single thing is dependent.
No, I didn't say that either.
Okay, what did you exactly say?
I said there cannot be a state of affairs where only dependent things exist.
That would, okay, so how is that?
Do you wanna write
what
it
I'm
down?
saying? I don't need to. I'm again because the content of the statement.
What do you mean
is
you don't need
what's
to? You're getting it wrong
Yeah,
each
because,
time.
no, because I'm getting what you exactly are saying wrong.
That's
but
what
the
you've got to deal with,
content
though.
of the
No, but
statement
the
is
entailment is
important.
still
Hold
the
on.
I don't care.
It's like saying 2 plus 2 and 4 are different things. They're the same thing, right? If you articulate it the same, then the articulation is the same.
I don't agree. I
Right.
think that I want my articulation to be dealt with.
Okay. Just repeat it one more time. So
Okay.
we can be clear.
There cannot be a state of affairs where only dependent things exist.
Okay, there cannot be a state of affairs
Only
where
dependent
only
things.
dependent
Yeah.
things exist.
Yep.
Right. Is there a reason for that?
Yes, because believe it.
That's PSR. That's PSR. You just done it. You just did PSR.
Just the
You just used.
I know.
That's a sufficient reason.
You're not understanding what I'm saying.
Is
here.
there a reason why this postulate is
Are
true?
you asking me to justify my premise?
I'm asking you if there is.
Are you asking
a
me to
reason
justify?
why this postulate is true?
Are you with me here? Are you listening or not?
I'm very much with you. I'm here.
I totally agree with you on the
Yeah.
fact
Yeah.
that there's a great flesh that joins what I am saying with the principle of sufficient reason spoken about by Gottfried Leibniz. I understand that, and I think everybody understands that. The Academy understands that.
If I may
But
touch on
let me
this point,
finish.
though,
But the
there's
Academy,
something very
excuse me, the Academy also understands the distinction between these arguments. That's why they name them different things in all languages that have been articulated in. I'm saying that For example, if you have a peer-reviewed paper in the Philosophy of Religion journal, right, which talks about the principle of sufficient reason, it's not seen as synonymous with an idea of the imkan or the burhan by Ibn Sina or whatever. Okay, great. So all I'm saying is,
so there's a distinction between a causal principle, which some arguments employ, and then the PSR. In all arguments, the PSR is used, but not in all arguments.
No, you're not understanding this.
I don't have to ask you for a causal principle.
Have you read monadology?
No, I don't have to read it. No.
I'm not telling you whether you have to read it or not. I'm asking you a question whether you have read it. Have you read monadology? Have you read it?
No, I don't.
Okay, so you're talking about something you have no knowledge of.
No, I'm talking about something.
Effectively, you have no knowledge of it.
The problem is this: when you
Why
are
are you
using
talking about it?
if I may finish, please, thank you. So when we are using certain languages, right? When we're using certain language, the PSR is a term that starts with Leibniz. For example, when he uses certain terms to establish in his academia in Germany, he also makes.
Leibniz.
Gottfried, yeah, Gottfried.
Okay.
So Gottfried makes certain like emendations in his work, probably around like let's say 10 years before he died, where he talks about.
But you haven't read his book, so you don't know what he does.
No, I haven't read that specific part of his.
But that's where he articulates the argument.
I'm talking about his letters.
We're talking about the principle.
No, hold on.
No, but why
I'm
do you?
talking about his letters.
No, but you don't know his argument then.
No, I'm talking about his letters.
How can you tell me about?
Afterwards,
No,
right?
but you're articulating an argument. You haven't even read the book.
I'm articulating an argument that stems even beyond the book, because the principle of sufficient reason,
This is
even
beyond,
if coined,
this is kind of beyond you, kind of.
even coined by Leibniz, you and I will both agree that academics can still use the PSR, even if they haven't read specifically the magnum opus
No, but
of
you're not dealing with my argument.
No, the argument that you're making is that you can make a postulate without the PSR.
Okay,
that's
what,
the postulate that you made.
Listen to me.
That's the postulate you made.
I didn't say that. Okay, can I respond?
No, you said it's bereft.
No,
you said it's bereft of the PSR. That's what you said the entire time.
Okay, well, let me explain. Maybe it's
what bereft means. That's what I said before.
Let me cross purposes. Maybe you don't understand. Maybe I'm saying it wrong. Maybe it's my fault. I'll take responsibility for my actions. Yeah.
That's fine.
Let me make it clear again. I'm saying, yes, I sympathize very, very clearly academically with the ideas of the PSR. I don't necessarily even disagree with it. Strong versions of it, no problem.
But that wouldn't tell me to collapse. That's the argument that he's making.
Like literally all academics.
I haven't finished what I've just said. I don't necessarily even disagree with it.
Okay.
However, I'm not making the argument. My argument, if you want to deal with it, you can. If you don't, I don't want to waste your time. I honestly, it's as follows. Excuse me. My argument is as follows. If you want to deal with it, you can. You can talk about the PSR. We all know now you haven't read the book of Leibniz.
I didn't.
No. So excuse me. You have not read monadology. It's like talk about the Islam without reading the Quran.
That's a bit fallacious.
No, it's not.
Me not reading one specific book that starts the arguments for the PSR does not mean that I can't understand the PSR.
It's like talking about why.
If you haven't read Aquinas' commentary on the sentences, that doesn't mean that you haven't understood Aquinas. That just means that you haven't read one of the
I understand what you're saying, but with all due respect, I can't take you seriously if you haven't read the primary text.
Again, the primary. Hold on. There's no primary text for a law school principle. It's like saying, because you haven't read.
There is actually.
Okay, so I'll give you a concrete example. If you haven't read the prior analytics, you cannot talk about the laws of identity. Of course not.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I'm not going to.
You're saying. You're saying that you can't take me seriously because I haven't read this
you're bringing.
That's false.
Okay, listen. Excuse me.
It's a false argument.
It's not an argument. I'm just giving my opinion.
It's a false opinion, I should say.
How's it a false opinion?
It's a bad opinion. Yeah, people can have bad opinions. It's a bad opinion.
Okay, excuse me.
I mean, by false I mean bad.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
All I'm saying.
Whatever. That's my opinion too.
Okay, well, your opinion is fine. I'm saying. Okay,
and I accept that. That's good.
Excellent. What I'm saying to you is this. Instead of talking about a PSR, I have an argument I'm putting forward today.
Yeah.
Since you guys are trying to be analytic philosophers by the looks of it.
I'm not an analytic philosopher.
I'm a continental.
Oh, continental philosopher, something like that. Okay,
You know what continental philosophy is?
Yes, I do. It's kind of like the difference between, there's two main schools of thought in the Western academia. By the way, what is your credentials for you to be asking me this question?
I'm just asking. I'm just a person in the park.
Okay, yeah. Continental philosophy, like Nietzsche, for example, would represent the school of thought where it's more about subjective experience.
What is
more about subjective experiences where demonstrative proof and using valid argumentation is not at the fore of it.
That doesn't really tell me the distinction between.
Yeah, I mean, there's different kind
even
of.
Analytic
Anyways,
use the same thing,
no
right?
problem,
Like,
no problem.
Really
But most schools of thought here in the West, for example, they're analytic philosophy schools. You guys are undergraduates, right?
Oh no, I don't go uni.
You don't go uni, no problem. It's not a prerequisite. What I'm saying to you is as follows now. Go to the second point. I don't know why you put your sunglasses on all of a sudden.
Because I can't hold them.
Okay, no problem. What I'm saying to you is as follows. Question is, I have a postulation to make. It's not. I agree with you. There's some aspect of the PSR which is there. I agree. Totally, yes. I totally agree. It's not the same articulation. That's what I'm saying. It's not the same argument.
I don't disagree.
No one's disagreeing.
Perfect
like,
semantics.
I don't disagree that the arguments are identical.
They're not
I'm just
identical.
saying, given that you've made a postulation,
Yeah.
is
There has
there a
to be a
reason
reason why.
as to why that postulation is true?
What we're saying
Rather
is
than not true.
what we're saying is
Okay,
this:
yeah,
is that
but-
whenever
Yeah, I
anyone
get
makes a
it.
postulate, they have to use the PSR.
All right.
That's what we're
Excellent.
saying.
Are you? Is there a reason for that?
Is there a reason for that?
Yeah. What's the reason?
Yeah, because of the impossibility of the contrary.
Okay. So
Let's say
you
that-
take you accept.
not denying
fine,
the
fine.
PSR,
All
I'm
I'm
right.
not denying that, but what
Yeah,
we're saying
fine,
is,
fine.
well,
Well,
if I
well,
can just clarify my
yeah,
point,
of course,
right?
of course,
Thank
of
you.
course.
Well, and just to clarify for every single person here,
Yeah.
including yourself, what I'm saying to you and what he's saying to you is that anyone that makes any postulation, any argument at all, you have to use the PSR to some
Either a
degree.
strong version.
I
Either
don't.
a
I
strong
don't.
or weak
I
version.
don't. I
That's what he's saying
don't.
to
I
you.
don't disagree with that.
Okay.
Amen.
Look,
Right.
Hey,
you're
I don't
saying-
disagree with that.
Are you okay? So now we have to talk about what version are you using?
No.
Using the strong
I'm not
one?
using that though. That's
You just.
no.
You said that in your argument you've used some form of the PSR, so
Listen,
either you're
let
using
me-
the strong form or the weak form. That's what we're
Can I-
saying.
There's
can-
only two options.
I know you guys have come with a PSR. I'm not defending the
I, didn't-
PSR.
I just came randomly.
No, you-
And
you
then I
gave
got-
an argument.
You spoke to me about PSR,
No,
bro.
you gave an
You came out and spoke to me about PSR, and then you talk about modal logic S5, and then
I didn't mention S5.
No one said that's fine.
excuse me, what is modal logic? How's it represented?
I didn't mention anything about
Okay.
S5.
Wait, hold on.
I spoke about the K
Modal.
axiom.
Excuse me, hold
I
on.
spoke about the K axiom.
Modal
the
logic
distribution.
is abbreviated as S5.
No. There are different systems in modal logic.
Modal logic
There are
is S5.
different systems. There's
Modal logic is
S4,
S-
there's
yeah, S4 and
modal
S5.
logic, There's a T axiom.
Accept-
there's
accept
a
it.
K
Then modal
axiom,
logic
there's
would
the
No,
not
but-
just be S5 then.
It's
would
not
it?
No,
just
S4 and S5, yeah, true.
Because there's controversy.
No, but you
in
you mentioned
amongst-
S5 in
amongst
particular. You were talking
I
about
did
K.
not mention S5.
No, but you were talking about the K axiom.
Yeah, the K axiom.
That's in S5.
No. The K axiom is presupposed in S5.
Yes,
but the K
fine.
axiom is in the first.
Whatever,
initial
man.
axioms.
Whatever. You're wasting my time and
It's
yours.
not just S5
Look,
then, is it?
It's
Yeah.
S4 and S5.
It's not really.
So here's the point.
It's not.
No.
Okay, excuse me. With all due respect, you're not qualified
doesn't-
and you're not read. So here's the point.
That's not an
Here's-
argument.
No, it's not an
That's not
argument.
an
I'm not
argument.
making.
No, no,
I'm not.
sorry.
Sorry, I'm not
No,
making
no,
an
no,
argument.
That's an argument from authority.
Statement
I
of fact.
could
Statement of fact.
say that
Objective fact.
I could say that an 11-year-old
Objective
doesn't know
fact.
anything
It's
about
an
high school, but they
objective
could
fact.
give me the
It's
same
objective-
arguments. It wouldn't matter.
It's objective
I'm
fact.
Okay, you
It's
have
objective
again.
fact.
I can say that I have
Objective
never read a
fact.
single book in my life. It wouldn't
Objective fact.
matter. That's an argument from authority.
Objective fact.
That doesn't matter.
I don't care. I'm making it.
Okay,
I'm saying it.
so you're making a
Now-
fallacious argument then.
no,
That's fine.
No
So a
problem.
qualified
No, I'm
person
not
is making
making
a fallacious
arguments.
argument.
It's not. It's
That makes no sense. That makes absolutely no sense.
It's not an
Come on.
argument. It's not an argument. It's a fact.
No, we gotta start-
Objective
hold on.
fact.
Can't we do it?
Hey,
So here's the thing.
We gotta start again. Saying that I'm not
You-
qualified is not an argument. We all
I
know
don't care,
this.
I don't care.
Right. So you don't care that
I
it's
don't
not
care.
about that's about.
I'm not
argument.
making-
That's fine
it's
by
not an
you.
argument.
I know.
It's not an
You're
argument.
Okay, you're saying.
I'm not making an
okay,
argument.
okay. You're saying.
I'm
okay,
simply
okay.
telling you you're
saying
not
I'm
qualified.
Right,
Is that true or false?
That's poisoning the
Is
well.
it true or false?
That's poisoning the
Is it
well.
true or false?
I haven't given any
Is
credentials.
it true or false?
I don't need to.
Is it true or false?
I don't need to.
Is it true or false?
I'm not going to verify the claim.
Is it true or false?
I'm not going to verify.
Is it true or
I don't need
false?
to verify.
Is it true or false? You already
We
did.
don't need to verify.
You haven't read the book. You haven't read the book that you're. I
don't need to
Because
read
we're
the
not,
book.
because again,
You're
we're
getting
not
triggered.
studying the
You
history
haven't read
of
the book.
Gottfried
I'd have to-
Leibniz.
I'd have to
We're looking
study
at the
the history
PSR as a
myself.
basic
Okay,
principle,
so
and we
okay,
know
no,
that.
you're not
That's okay.
You're not tested. You're not
That's
tested.
fine.
Alright,
I'm not
now here's the
testing.
thing.
What? Wait,
Second,
hold
you're
on.
not tested.
I'm not
Second
tested.
point.
What?
Yeah, you're not tested
That's
academically.
not-
Second
that's
point.
not
Second
something that
point.
needs to be brought up in
Second.
discussion at all.
I'm making the point.
Exactly,
I'm
exactly.
making the
You're
point.
making an argument.
I'm making
which
the
is
point.
wrong, 'cause your argument-
How do you know?
You're making an argument that's wrong.
You're a layman.
That doesn't matter.
You're a layman. Okay,
I'm
second
a
point.
layman, but you're
Second,
not-
second,
It's not an
second.
argument. Just
Second
saying that
point.
you're a layman, it's not
Second
an
point.
argument, and you know
Okay.
this.
argument
Okay, let me
tells
make
us
my
that
argument.
hasn't got anything
My
to do
argument is
with-
follows.
That's anything-
My argument is
Your
follows.
argument tells us
Then my argument is as follows. Do you want to deal with it or do you want to run away?
Let's deal with it.
You can
Okay,
deal with it
okay,
or run.
No one's running away. You
Okay,
keep trying
do you want
to
me
say
to-
that
my
you're
argument is
qualified
follows.
and we're
Okay.
not.
I
That's
didn't
not
say I'm
supposed to
qualified
be
at all.
something.
Look, let's
Okay,
just
are
deal
you
with the
qualified?
premise
No,
of-
you're asking me a question now.
I'm asking you if you're
I
qualified.
don't want to verify.
You don't
And
want to
I-
verify. That's
I-
fine. Even
I
though I
don't
need
wanna
to.
verify.
Okay,
I
look,
don't
That's
want
what
to
I did.
verify.
That's what I did. That's what I did.
We're just lay
That's what I
people.
did.
People
That's
know my
great.
point. Okay,
So
whatever.
then
Why can't we just
Okay,
hold
look.
on. So then it's one unverified person with another
Yeah, no
unverified
problem, I
person
don't care,
having a
I don't-
conversation.
whatever.
We agree on that.
Yeah, okay, whatever, yeah. You want me to show your hands?
Absolutely.
Okay,
There
let's
you
move
go.
on.
So
Move
now
on.
that we've done it,
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
get the postulate again. Right?
Okay, let me ask you a question.
Yeah, go on.
My postulation is as follows.
Yeah.
My postulation is
Yeah, go on. Pins and needles.
you cannot have a state of affairs. I'm telling you this because this is my PhD thesis.
Okay, that's
Okay.
great.
Okay, that's completely fine.
And anyway, this is how I put
Where's
it.
the PhD
What are you laughing at?
I'm just saying.
What's funny
It
about
doesn't
that?
really matter.
No,
That's what I'm saying.
I know, but let them have their chance.
They do this all the time, though.
I know, but let them have
You've
their
never
chance.
seen me before.
Let them have their chance. This is my PhD thesis, been peer reviewed.
That's great.
Many people have seen it.
Yeah, that's
And I want to see if you guys have a chance at defending it, because it's been through a peer review process.
Yeah, that's fine.
So let me see if you can answer it, because I don't want to waste my time and yours. I have a chapter of my dissertation, my thesis, my 3-year dissertation,
That's great.
which is about Gottfried Leibniz, where I had to look at monadology and all that stuff. And I have a separate chapter about Ghazali's argument. I have a separate chapter about Avicenna's argument. I have and all of them are different forms of the contingency argument.
True.
At no point in my academic career Did anybody tell me, actually, you're mentioning the PSI everywhere here, you might as well just do what you want? I've spoken to academics at the highest, excuse me, with all due respect, you guys aren't qualified. I spoke to people at the highest level.
That's great.
I
That's
don't
not the point
care.
you're making.
I spoke to, and all of them told me, this is different from this, it's different from this, it's a different chapter, it's different
That's
articulation.
not the point
No
that you're making.
problem.
I told you there's a
People could take your view or they could take the view of the
There's a
academics.
distinction.
No problem.
That's not a
That's-
distinction. They
no
can take
problem,
either the
no
view that you're
problem.
doing
Yeah, I
or the
don't
view
care.
that you're
I don't care.
proposing.
My
And the
question
view that
is-
you're proposing
Okay,
necessitates PSR.
you're wasting my time.
explaining.
I'm going to give you my argument. My argument is as follows.
wasting your time.
This is the
Just
argument of my
clarifying the point.
dissertation. That's why I've been able to say it with great fluidity. And I've been repeating it and you haven't responded to it.
We've responded multiple times.
No,
In
no.
fact,
You asked if there's
hold on,
a
hold on,
reason.
no, it's fine, it's fine, it's
I haven't
fine.
even said it. I
So
haven't
this is
said
the
it.
point. So you
What
then,
did I say?
okay, so either you repeated the argument multiple times,
Do you want me to
or
say it
you
again?
haven't said it.
Do you want me to say it
So,
again?
Okay, either you've repeated the argument multiple
Do you want me
times,
to say it again?
or you haven't said it.
Do you want me to say it
So,
again?
When we're
What is the
addressing your
argument?
point, hold on.
What's the argument?
Hold on. I'm addressing the statements that you made
So what's
before,
my argument?
which was about your PhD thesis. I'm just
What's
gonna,
my
I'm just
argument?
gonna finish the argument that's going to be happening now. So when it comes to the same academics that review your paper, they, in their reviews of your paper, because I'm sure you've received reviews, obviously there are certain academics, postgrads that will help you with the paper as well when you're writing it, because you've been writing it for 3 years. These same individuals will tell you ways that you can improve the paper or ways that you can make your
Are you
argument
giving me
more
academic
plausible.
advice now,
I'm
or-
not giving you academic
So
advice.
what
I'm just
are you
telling
talking
the
about?
process. That has nothing to do with
I
it.
don't need to know the
What I'm
process from an
talking about is
underqualified.
what I'm talking about specifically is that
How-
even
what tell me
those
the
same
process for?
people that are reviewing your work,
What about
the
them?
same people that are reviewing your work, right?
Yeah.
They will at least accept in part that these different contingency arguments,
You're
what
wasting-
underlies them is the PSR.
No,
Now they don't
no,
explicitly
they-
refer
that's
to the
just- no,
PSR.
no,
That's just true.
That's just true for contingency arguments in general, and we know
to
that.
be true for
I'm,
all.
let's-
There's going to be a
let's-
distinction in a
okay.
causal principle. which-
You're not.
which contingent
You're.
arguments.
I
It's
said,
never been
okay.
metaphysically for the PSR. That's
You're.
it.
Okay. I know you.
PSR is going to
Okay.
be presupposing all of
Let me.
these
Right,
theses
that's
All
of
right. So
contingency.
you're talking about PSR. Let me give you my argument.
Okay.
My articulation. If you want to deal with it, you can. If you don't, everyone's going to see that you haven't. Here's the point. There cannot be a state of affairs where only dependent things can exist.
Is there a
Now,
reason why that's true?
no, I'm not asking is the reason or not. That's my question. Go ahead.
That's not a question.
And that's my postulation. Do you want to respond to
Right.
it?
Okay, so
Do you agree or disagree?
I want to
you
respond
dis-
to
do you-
the.
do you
I
agree or
want to
disagree?
respond to the postulate. So if I'm going to respond to the
Yeah.
postulate,
Do you agree or disagree
then
with
I'm going
it?
to respond to it in this
But do
way.
you agree or disagree
okay,
with it
okay.
first?
I'm just going to use Hitchens razor.
Do you agree or disagree with
I'm
it?
going to use Hitchens razor.
Do you agree or disagree?
I'm going
I
to
don't
use
see any-
Hitchens
I don't
razor.
see
Do you
any
agree or
evidence.
disagree?
I don't see really any evidence to believe in this.
Oh, really?
Right? There's
So
no,
if
there's
you
not
wanna-
been, there's
Oh,
not
really?
been a sufficient reason given.
Oh, really?
So when a sufficient reason is given, then I can
Really?
agree or
We
not.
can agree.
Now
Oh,
I
okay.
can
Okay.
tell you that the statement that you're saying is cognitive. We can agree there. The
So,
statement has
so do you
cognitive
agree or disagree with
information.
it?
I don't agree or disagree with it because there's not
Okay,
been a
so
sufficient reason given.
you don't agree or disagree with it?
I can
So
dismiss
you're
it as
agnostic.
just that.
So,
a
so
postulate.
no problem. So you're
I can dismiss it
so,
just as
so
a
you're
postulate.
ignorant of its truth.
I'm not saying I'm ignorant of its truth.
Yeah, you're
I'm
ignorant.
saying, no, I'm
That's
saying
why you
that
just
there's no
admitted.
sufficient
He
reason.
doesn't
for
know.
No,
You're ignorant then.
I'm saying this. Okay, you're using.
You're ignorant.
Hold on. It seems to be
You're
the case that
agnostic.
you're
You're
using
ignorant.
certain buzzwords to sort of
No,
like
no, but that's what you
articulate
just
point.
said.
But what
You're
I'm going to say,
ignorant.
what
You don't know if it's
I said,
right or wrong.
what I said is that
Are
I
you
can
ignorant?
use Hitchens razor.
Hold on.
I can
You-
just dismiss the claim
Hold
as
on.
a claim
No,
in
but you can
general.
dismiss everything.
I'm not saying that I'm dismissing the claim
I can
as false.
dismiss the claim
I'm not
that I
affirming the claim as
exist.
true.
You can dismiss that.
I
I
can
can say I
say-
exist. I dismiss that. I'm
Yeah,
asking you a
you
question.
can dismiss that if there's no sufficient reason given, and there's going to be sufficient reasons given for your existence.
Okay, no problem. I'm asking a question.
Yeah, go on.
The proposition, there cannot be a state of affairs where only dependent things exist.
Yeah.
You're saying you don't agree or
Is that
disagree.
proposition contingent?
No, I'm not asking you questions. I'm asking you questions. I'm asking you questions.
It's either a contingent
Do
or a
you
necessary.
agree or disagree? Do you agree or disagree?
It's either
Do you agree or
contingent
disagree?
or necessary
Do you agree or
proposition, my
disagree?
friend.
Given
That's
that
what's going on.
Do you agree or disagree? Do you agree or disagree?
Given that's either contingent or
Yeah.
necessary, then I can agree to one or the other.
Yeah.
Do you agree or disagree?
Is it
No, I'm not answering the question. I agree or disagree?
About your specific
Yeah,
process.
agree or disagree?
I mean, I disagree.
Disagree.
Yeah, 'cause-
Why do you disagree?
Well,
Well, no. Then that means that he has to give a sufficient reason for his
Yeah,
claim. That's
yeah.
the point.
Why do you disagree?
But
No,
then
hold
you
on,
just
hold
said
on.
that
Why do
you
you
can
disagree?
make arguments without the
No,
PSR.
no. Why do you disagree?
So he can
Why
just
do you
do the same
disagree?
thing.
I mean,
Oh,
he's
excuse
not
me.
wrong about
Why
that.
do you disagree?
He can just say the same
Why
thing.
do you? I know you.
don't have
It's
to
a double act.
sufficient
Why do you disagree?
Well, look, first of all,
Why do you disagree?
I'll tell you why I
What's your
disagree.
sufficient reason?
My sufficient
Yeah,
reason.
yeah, yeah. What's it?
But you have a sufficient reason too.
No, go. What's your
Well, look,
reason?
there's a distinction.
Get into it.
first
Go on.
of all, between-
Wait, no,
Test the
then
waters.
he just entered explosion.
Test the waters.
Yeah,
Test the
I've
waters.
kind of-
Test the
you've
waters.
gone- he's entered
Test the
explosion
waters.
already.
I know you're scared.
No,
I know
no,
you're scared.
In fact,
Look at them. They don't.
Hold on.
You're test the waters. Test the waters. Test the
We're
waters.
testing the waters.
Test the waters.
And for some
Test the
reason,
waters.
there
Why is
seems
it
to
wrong?
be like a visceral
Why is it
fear
wrong?
for just saying
Why is
that
it wrong?
that's reason.
Why is it wrong?
No, wait.
Why is it wrong?
Together, it's fine.
Why is it wrong? No problem. Both of you together. Go. Why is it
Do you know
wrong?
what necessitarianism
Why is it wrong? Why is it wrong?
Do you know what necessity?
No, don't ask me questions. You're unqualified. Ask me, why is it wrong? Tell me you're underqualified. Ask the question. Don't
That's
ask me
not
questions.
a point to be
I'm making
made.
a statement of fact. Statement of fact.
That's not an appeal to be made. It's just poisoning the world. It's just poisoning the
I don't
world.
care. I like to poison it.
You like to poison the world,
Yeah,
so you
no
like to have
problem.
dishonest
Poison,
argument. That's fine.
nice. I'm poisoning.
And then you're basically
Tell me
being
now.
dishonest.
Tell
Very
me,
good.
poison
It's
is
right.
good.
Yeah, so
Poison
you're
that.
being
Well,
dishonest.
now let me ask you a question.
That's fine.
Ask me, why do you disagree with it? Test the waters. Test the waters.
Because that will entail something
How?
called a modal
How?
collapse.
How?
It's called a
How?
distribution axiom.
How?
The implication of A being necessary and implying that B.
What's A here? What's A in this analogy?
Or
Anything
A
that
in
exists.
anything that exists. Any contingent fact.
Well, hold on. I'm going to say anything. A contingent fact. That's not what I said in my argument.
But he's made.
No,
Wait,
no,
no, he's
hold on.
giving
Deal
the
my
actual
argument.
axiom. He's giving the
That's
actual
not what I said in my
axiom.
argument. Use my articulation.
The conclusion of your argument is that there exists a necessary cause, a necessary.
I haven't said that in my argument.
Your conclusion.
I haven't said that. Haven't said that in my argument. Haven't said that in my argument. Haven't said that in my argument. Test the waters. Test the waters.
He's saying
Test
it's
the
a
waters.
necessary
Test the
implication,
waters
that's what
now.
he's saying.
Both of you, come on. Put your heads
saying it's a
together. Test the
necessary
waters, boys.
implication. Brother,
Test
put
the
your heads
waters.
together and
Test
actually
the
answer the
waters.
implication.
Test the waters. No, you don't need to ask for that. My conclusion is as follows, or my postulation is as follows. There cannot be a state of affairs where only dependent things exist. Test the waters. Tell me why it's wrong. You said it's wrong. Why is it wrong? Test the waters.
You understand you can have
Test the
contingency-
waters.
You understand you can have contingency
Why is it
arguments.
wrong?
You understand you can have contingency arguments under an atheistic.
I don't care about all that. Tell me why it's wrong.
Then you don't
Why
care
is
about
it
his
wrong?
reason. Then you don't care about his reason.
Why is it wrong? Why is it wrong? You said it's wrong.
Giving the reason why.
No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not.
What
No,
did he
it's
say?
not.
Then
Why
what
is
did
it
he say?
wrong?
Then what did he
Test
say?
the waters.
Then what did he say?
Test the
Then what
waters.
did he say?
Why is it wrong?
What did he say?
He said,
Hold on, hold on. What did he say?
he said,
Perfectly
he's,
consistent
excuse
with
me.
atheistic naturalistic account.
He said, what is?
What you just said. There cannot be. Look, you can have some necessary grounding, and it not be like an agent that caused like the reality to exist. He never said cause.
Wait, hold on. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I never said that. I never said that.
Does it have to be cause?
Yeah, exactly. See, why you running? Why? Yeah, it's true. It's true. He's right. He's right about that. He's right about that.
He's just using a different
Test the
word.
waters. Test the waters. Why is it the
Is there
case?
not a sufficient
No, you said no. What?
Is there any, no. I'm asking
Provide
you
your
now.
evidence.
Is there,
No,
is
you're not
there
asking me
a-
anything. I'm asking you a question.
See the shift
I
of
said
the
that there
brief?
cannot be a state
You
of affairs
have-
where only
you
dependent
have
things
to
exist.
claim-
Test the
you have a
waters.
particular
Test the
postulation.
waters.
You've asked for a
Test the
sufficient-
He's just
waters.
saying test the waters, but again,
Put it
the
in.
point is that the actual
What's your
statement
argument?
itself-
What's your argument?
Analytic claims all the time.
What's your argument?
What's
What's your argument?
You are the one presenting argument to me.
No,
You're
you
making
said
a
you don't. It's wrong. You
postulation.
said it's wrong. That's a statement of fact. It's a
Does
truth
he have to
claim.
give a sufficient reason why?
Yes. Go
So
ahead.
then why are you saying that he has to give a
Tell
specific
me
reason
now.
Why
why?
don't you and I-
Test the waters.
Test
the waters.
So I have to give a sufficient
Test the
reason,
waters.
you don't.
I don't mind. Go first. You're saying it's wrong. Why is it wrong?
Wait, so you can deny?
Is it wrong? You said it's wrong though. You said it's wrong. Why is it wrong?
So the PSR
But it must be wrong for a reason. Is it wrong for a reason?
Dismissed without
No.
evidence. He said that he
I'm
said
saying
that.
it's a
That's why he-
PSR for a reason. What's the reason?
Is there
What's the
sufficient
reason it's
reason
wrong?
why the PSR can
Why
be
is the
denied?
PSR wrong? Why is it wrong?
I never.
So I'm not the PSR. Why is the argument wrong? Why is the argument wrong?
Because your argument
Yeah,
holds
yeah.
a strong version of the PSR. And the
That's
strong
not a
version
reason.
of
That's
the
wrong.
PSR Oh my.
Why is it wrong? What's your evidence? It's wrong. Why is it wrong? Do you understand English? Why is it wrong?
He's saying the reason why is because
Why is it
his
wrong?
argument
reason why
relies
it's
Yeah. Go on. Yeah. Why it's wrong? Yeah.
Because it's self-defeating.
Why? Why?
It can't even get off the ground.
Why?
Because it results in a modal collapse where
How?
nothing is
Show me how.
I'll show you how.
How?
Now, look, in virtue of that contingent fact.
What contingent fact? What contingent fact? I didn't mention the word contingent fact. I didn't make the
You
contingent.
don't have to say the word contingent.
Then you're not dealing with my argument. Then you're not dealing with my argument.
You don't have to explicitly say
No. You got to deal with my argument. Deal with the language. You're not following. Test the waters.
You said you're an academic. Can you not
Excuse me. I've said to you, look.
follow the argument?
My argument, I'm making it to you. I said it again. Do you want me to say it for the first time? Test the waters. You're not using the language even I'm using.
Look, if the language is going to entail the same thing, it does not matter.
No, I'm telling you to use my language. Use my language.
I'm saying.
I'm saying that there cannot be a state of affairs where only dependent things exist. Disprove it. Disprove it. You said it's wrong. You said it's wrong. Why is it wrong? Why is it wrong? Why is it wrong?
The reason why?
Yeah.
Because there is going to be sufficient reason.
What?
There is going to be sufficient reason.
For what reason? For what?
For your postulation.
What?
For your postulation.
There is sufficient reason for that. For what? My postulation.
Is there not sufficient reason?
Wait a minute.
Look, it's so
What are you saying?
simple.
What are you saying? What are you saying?
Look, either it's the case.
Let him say his thing. I want to hear
Either it's the
it.
case, there is a sufficient reason as to why that postulation is true, or there is not a sufficient reason.
Okay,
as
let's
to
say
why
it is.
that postulation is true. Okay,
Yeah, there
if
is.
there's a sufficient reason,
there
and you're holding a strong PSR in this view, the strong PSR is going to entail a modal collapse.
How?
The reason why it's going to entail a modal collapse
Why?
is because in virtue of the sufficient reason, either
What's sufficient reason?
No, there's going to be sufficient reason as to why it's going to be true, right?
What sufficient reason are you talking about?
No.
Right.
So
Which one?
You're saying there's sufficient. What do you mean?
What are you talking about?
What do you mean, which
What are you
one?
talking about? I don't even know what you're talking about. I don't not understand what you're saying.
Well, then you're obviously not familiar with the contingency.
No. What do you mean, bro?
You must not be familiar.
I mean, come on.
I have these discussions.
I mean, come on, bro.
I don't have to have. But you know what?
I mean, what are you talking about? Explain your reasoning, bro. Explain your reasoning. Why is it going to reach a modal collapse? What modal collapse? What modal collapse? What modal collapse? How? How?
Okay, if you want me to explain.
Yeah.
Let me explain. Look, do you know what modal collapse is? First of all?
Explain it in your ways, in your language. Don't ask me about things. You're underqualified. Answer your own way. I want to understand it yours.
Saying that you're underqualified.
Objective fact.
Okay,
you don't know what you're
we
talking
can
about.
run as an objective fact.
What you asked me what's a modal
relevant
collapse?
to the argument that's being
If you
made.
talk, okay, we're talking about modal categories.
What's a modal collapse?
If you talk about modal
What's a modal collapse?
so I'm telling you.
What's a modal
So
collapse? I just want to know what that is.
Are you going to let him
well,
speak?
are you going to let me
asking
speak?
what's modal
Are you
collapse?
going to let him speak?
Hold
Wasting
on.
your time. We spoke to him last week.
Really?
We support. Wallahi, we spoke to him.
No. But
Yeah,
I'm asking. He's saying modal collapse.
The same
Explain why it's a you got modes. Yeah, you've got different modalities, right?
What modality
Okay,
you
so
use?
I've used the word dependency. That's the
What
only thing
modality are
I'm
you
not
using?
using contingency and necessity.
Modality
I'm
are
not
you
using those modalities.
What
I'm
mode?
not using them.
Do you know what modality is?
Yes, I am.
What's
I'm not using the language of
What's
modality. I'm not using the language of modality. I'm not using the language of
What is
modality. I'm not using. What is it? You tell me.
No, I'm asking you.
Why should you ask me anything?
Why should I ask you anything? You're the academic.
So
You should teach me, right?
okay, so you got modal
You're a
characters.
qualified person. What's a modality?
Okay, so what?
What's modality?
I'm not using the modal categories. I'm using the word
But then
dependency.
define the term that you're using.
I'm using the word dependency. I'm
You
not
said
using
that
the
there are
word.
different types of modalities.
I've defined it already. I've
Contingent
defined.
or determined by the various
You're aligned
benefits
with somebody who's
depending on
a disability.
No,
I
I'm
don't
asking a
have
question.
A, I don't care enough.
Within the very
I'm-
definition
Ali,
of
you've
dependence.
talked
I'm
to me.
not
Ali,
using the modal categories.
you've talked with me
Wait,
before.
You
We've had a private
word
conversation.
dependent has the word contingent.
I don't have hate,
You're still
bro.
using a
You know
modal
this.
sense of the word.
He's underqualified.
Sure, but I don't have
You're
hate.
still
Yes,
using
I
a
don't have
Christian
hate.
You're aligned with someone.
Contingent.
No, I'm not using the word contingency, bro.
He's a theist.
I'm using the word dependency.
No, he's a theist.
I'm using the word dependency, bro.
Wait,
I'm not using the modal categories.
Thank you. Thank you.
No. As in a theist. Like,
No, check this out. A Christian aligned with an atheist.
yeah, but remember what I said.
Why is it going to be a modal collapse? No, but hold on.
Yeah, atheist.
Yes, thank you.
Just forget it. Tell me why it's going to be a modal collapse. Why is it going to be a
No,
modal
not
collapse?
atheist. And he said that he's
Why is it gonna be a modal collapse?
atheist. What the hell?
Why is it going to be a modal
You just
collapse?
said- oh my God.
I'm not using the language of
He just said
modality.
he's atheist.
I'm not using the language of
He said
modality.
that he's atheist.
Let's do with the atheist.
You haven't told me what kind of
No,
modality
he
it is.
said he said
Okay,
that
let me say again.
he said he's atheist.
Okay.
Is the postulate?
Now I'm a classical theist. He's a different kind of theist. He's
Contradiction
Hegelian.
of the negation.
This guy, he denies, he doesn't believe in God.
What?
No,
What
he
the-
denies.
what are you saying,
like,
bruv?
for example, he denies
What are you
like,
saying?
divinity, He denies miracles.
What are you saying, bro?
Your particular
A
postulate.
contradiction of the
This
negation.
guy's my friend. Like I know.
Look, the negation is going to result in some contradiction.
What are you talking about? What?
The
But
negation
yeah,
of your
for the
postulate
argument,
is going to
for
result
the
in
argument,
contradiction.
for the argument.
You mean the affirmation? My thing is negatory. I'm signing with a negation.
You're affirming a postulate.
No, I'm not. I'm saying there is no state of affairs.
It's true. Yeah. So the negation.
I'm saying there are no state of affairs.
So the
I know.
negation is that there is a state
Because
of
he's
affairs.
saying the truth.
That's going to be.
I
That's
don't
going to
care
be a
about like
contradiction, right?
who's
No.
what. I'm talking
It's gonna
about the
result in
arguments
contradiction.
themselves.
You now you're going to logical fallacy. You're doing logical fallacy. That's from the consequence. Yeah.
I know, and you mock me.
Yeah, you are. You are. So,
Why is it? No, no.
You're
Why
fa-
is
you're-
it
you're-
not true?
You're brother. You're making this is this. You're making that's a logical fallacy. That's a logical fallacy.
Really simply. Imagine an 11-year-old girl.
I've just given you a postulate.
I don't know what modality
great
is. Tell me
mathematical
modality.
theory.
Okay, so in modal, you've got modal logic, right?
what's
So
modality?
modality, you've got different modalities.
Just
You've got
because she's
possibility,
11
for
doesn't
example.
mean
You've got
that-
impossibility. You've got different
You
things.
don't even know what you're saying right now, do you?
I
No, I do know what I'm
but
saying.
what he's
But you
doing
mentioned
is
David
every
Lewis.
single time he makes
David
a
Lewis
point,
talking.
you're not qualified.
Yeah, so these are
What
modalities.
he's doing is he knows that everyone else is good. It's gonna be like,
Are
oh,
different,
he's
so you
talking
have
about
Tell me how.
versus
You have
something
modal
else.
logic.
Tell me how.
You have modal logic.
Tell me how they're different.
Explain
What
to me.
modalities are you talking about? Possibilities, impossibilities, contingencies, what?
Hold on. We're talking about
But that's an
modal
appeal to
predicates.
that's
So
an
what?
appeal to authority.
Modal predicates
I
are
don't
not
need to be
identical to
qualified to say something
modalities.
So what modalities are you talking about?
Modalities are different.
And you
modal
agree?
Tell me
with
what you
me.
mean. Give me
So
examples.
you can give, for example, the narrowly minded like modal logic. You can have the
Modal collapse you talk about. What do you mean by modal collapse? What do you mean by modal collapse? Can you explain? No, I want to ask you. What do you mean by modal collapse? What does it mean?
The burden keeps shifting.
What does it
Why is the
mean?
burden keep shifting?
No, I want to know what it means. What does
Burden
it
should not be
mean?
shifting.
What does modal collapse
You're not
mean?
presenting an
What do you mean by modal
You need to-
collapse?
you need to show
What
me
do
how
you
modal
mean
collapse
by
is.
modal collapse?
A modal collapse
Yes.
is by the modal predicates of
Like-
some modal.
Like what? Give me an example of which ones.
So
Like
let's say,
what?
for example, necessity.
Yeah, necessity.
Contingency.
Yeah, which I just mentioned.
possibility,
I just mentioned those.
impossibility.
I just mentioned those.
They result.
It just mentioned those, yeah.
please.
Yeah, I just mentioned those.
Let him finish.
Yeah.
Let him finish, please.
So
Yeah.
what happens is in a modal collapse,
Yeah.
one of the modal properties or one of the modal predicates collapses into all things.
Show me how. No, let him go. Let him
What the
go.
hell are you
Definition.
talking about?
But why get angry with him? Let him say his thing. You guys, why don't get rude to him? Why get rude to him for? Why get rude to him for? Why get rude to him for? Why get rude to him for?
Because he said
Why get rude
prove
to
the
him for? Don't get rude to him, bro. Don't get rude to him, bro.
No, because he said because he said
No,
prove the definition.
you're both coming in. He's coming in. He's being polite.
But
He's being
wait,
polite.
no, but he
Don't
said
disrespect him.
he said
Don't
prove
disrespect
it.
him. Don't
No,
disrespect him.
because he said prove
You're
it.
both coming in. You're
Yeah, but
disrespectful.
because
He's
he
not
said-
doing
how-
nothing.
when did I disrespect you?
Bruv, you're both coming in as 2-on-1. He came in. He said a few
So how's
words.
that disrespectful?
No, but he's coming in. He
You
said
said
a
I
few
was
words.
disrespectful.
No,
How was
hold
I?
on. He's coming in. He didn't say
No,
nothing.
we get that point. We're saying how was I disrespectful?
So all I'm saying is that he's coming in.
Okay,
and
great.
you're shouting
but
at
how
him.
was I disrespectful?
Because you're both coming in and talking out over each other. He's coming in and
So how was I
words.
disrespectful towards
Anyway,
you?
go on.
You've
I didn't show
told me
disrespect
so
towards
far
you.
that modality is modal predicates. You're wrong about that. How
I'm,
can you
no, I'm not
You're
saying
wrong
that.
about that.
I said that. No.
I asked
Modality
you
includes what?
modality
What is modality?
Modality.
What is it?
Modality are different views in which you can say something is or is not possible. Now look, there are going to be loads of different ways.
How's that going to be expressed? Give me an example of modality.
So
Go
look,
on.
you can use David Lewis's modality, for example.
Say again?
David Lewis's modality. And he's going to say, for example, David Lewis.
Yes,
yeah.
big yeah.
So he's going to say, for example, that all possible worlds are actually existing
Yes, okay.
at the same time.
No, but
And
that's
he's
modal
not-
realism.
Hold on.
That's modal realism. No, you're wrong, by the way.
Hold on.
He's giving one type of modality.
So it's possibility and modality.
No, that's a modal predicate.
So what? So what are you saying?
We
Modal collapse.
predicate-
When you say modal collapse, what do you mean?
A modal collapse is where we have a modal system and
Yes.
it collapses into
How?
one modal
Give me an
predicate.
example how. Give me an example.
So your argument.
No, give me an example.
Your argument.
Show me how.
Your argument.
Show me how.
So your
What's the
argument-
working out?
Okay, that's what
Use
I'm
it
asking.
with
Yeah.
the examples possible.
Show me how.
So like all possible
Go,
worlds.
no.
collapse into one.
Let him say it.
So look, let's say for example we have a possible world in which let's say we have a necessary being, and a necessary being has an essential property about it. Let's
Necessity.
Say, yeah. Let's say.
Yeah,
it's
fine.
necessity.
Yeah.
Now, whatever the essential property about the necessary being
Yep.
explains is going to entail what it explains. That's called the distribution axiom.
Yeah, but that's not the argument.
Hold on.
That's not the
Oh
argument.
my! You asked me to give me an example. I'm giving you an
Yeah,
example.
but that's not how I'm
Hold
articulating
on.
the argument.
You asked me to give you an example.
Yeah, but that's not how I articulate the
You
argument.
asked me to give you an example.
Oh,
I'm giving
excellent.
you
So
an
tell me how that applies to my
So
argument.
the reason why I applies to your argument.
Yeah, go on
is
now.
because
Now this way. Yeah.
You believe
Yeah.
in an agency.
I didn't say that in
God.
argument.
It doesn't matter.
No, but you're talking about my beliefs. You're talking about my beliefs. You're talking about my beliefs. The argument is hold on.
Okay,
So
okay,
tell me how that
okay,
applies to my argument.
okay,
Go.
okay.
Test the waters. Test the waters.
Just
Test the
repeating
waters.
test the waters doesn't mean anything.
Test the waters. Test the waters. Tell me how it applies. Test the waters. Go.
I'm not scared.
Go.
I'm not scared at all.
Go, test
I'm not
it.
scared at all.
Test it.
I'm not scared at all.
Test the waters.
Your argument is fallacious.
Tell me how.
At its core.
How?
Look, is there a sufficient reason as to why your posture?
You're asking me questions now. You're asking me questions now. Tell me now. Why is it
This is
fallacious?
why I'm testing you.
No,
This is
test the
how I'm-
waters now. Tell
I
me
have
why
to
it's
ask
wrong.
you a question
Test the waters.
To show how
Test the waters.
To show how you're an argument.
Tell me why is it modal collapse? Why is it modal collapse? Tell me now. What's my argument? What's my argument? What's my argument?
You made a posture.
Wait, hold on.
You made a posture.
Necessitarianism is not incoherent.
It's not incoherent.
It's not incoherent.
It's not incoherent.
It's not incoherent.
Okay, so you believe
It's not incoherent.
So you understand that necessitarianism is, and in all possible worlds,
Yeah.
God had to have created the
Yeah,
world.
it's not incoherent. It's not logically incoherent.
No, hold on,
It's not logically incoherent, is it?
To your view.
Okay, excuse. How is it contradictory? How is it contradictory?
Because God has free will.
I don't believe.
God has
Hold
free
on.
will.
I don't believe necessarily. I'm saying how.
Does God have
No.
free will?
Now you're going
Does God have
theology.
free will?
I'm saying
Does God
philosophy.
have free will?
That's theology.
Does God have
That's
free will?
theology.
God does
That's
God have free
theology.
will?
That's
This-
theology.
That's
Oh my
philosophy.
God.
I'm saying
This is an entailment of your view that
that's
you're going to
theology.
reject.
You're going to religion.
This is
You're going to
of your
religion.
view that you're going to reject.
I don't care.
Well,
You're-
then,
you're-
I
You
don't
don't care
care.
about
No,
the
no.
rejection then.
You're
That
saying
doesn't
no.
mean anything.
Hold on.
I'm not even engaging
Test
myself.
the waters. My postulation was as follows: there cannot be a state of affairs where only dependent things
The
exist.
reason
Why is it wrong?
Because
Why?
it entails
Why?
a modal collapse
How?
of necessity.
How? Tell me how.
Because in the argument,
Yeah?
the thing that's going to sufficiently explain
Yeah.
the contingent fact,
Go ahead.
right, is going to explain it either in virtue of an essential feature or a contingent feature. If it's a contingent feature, it's going to rely
Sorry, in
on
virtue of what?
something
In
else,
virtue of what?
In virtue of an essential feature.
Essential feature of what?
Or a contingent
Essential feature of what?
Of the explanation.
What do you mean? How?
So
Give me an
look-
example of that.
Sorry, explanandum, my bad.
Huh?
So look, you're going to say now there's
Yeah.
going to be sufficient reason that is going to explain the reason why the postulation even obtains. Now look,
How?
Either, it's very simple, and it's contrastive. Either the thing is true or the thing is not true. You're saying the thing is true. Look, hold on.
You're saying it's not true, so why is it not true? Go. You're saying it's not true, why is it not true?
I haven't said it's not true.
Yeah, I'm saying it's true.
Can you stop? Look,
No, tell me why it's
you need to
wrong.
listen. You need to
Tell me
listen.
why it's
Calm
wrong.
down.
You're speaking but not saying
You gotta let him
anything.
finish the argument.
You're
We can
speaking
say
a
the
lot.
same thing about
You're
you.
speaking a lot but not
We can
saying
say the same
anything.
thing about you.
Tell me now.
We can look around and
No,
do
I'm
words
letting you
as well.
speak.
It doesn't mean anything.
I don't care, bro. Go
That's
ahead.
fine, but
So
he's
either
making
it's
an
an
argument.
essential feature or it's
Go.
a contingent feature.
Go.
If it's contingent,
was already
we
there.
already agree it's not going to sufficiently explain the reason as to why it
Look, you
obtains.
can just say
How? Why? Who said we don't agree with that?
Because hold on, because we can
What?
ask the question.
What?
Sorry, man. Stay calm. Stay calm. Look, it's fine. Look.
Bro, it's you.
Stop biting him, bro. You're a
Relax.
Christian.
Relax,
You're a
man.
Christian.
Doesn't
You should be on
matter.
our side.
Let-
from now on. Yeah, so let them talk.
forget this
Stop
guy,
busting
man.
it.
Let him say something. I don't care. Let him help him. Let him help him. Go.
Joker, it doesn't
Let him go.
matter,
An
bro.
atheist against a Muslim.
No, he's not. Leave him, bro.
Because the argument,
You're
because
giving
the
a bad
argument
argument.
itself
You're
is
giving a
No,
bad
just let him say
Well,
that.
the argument's a bad argument, so it
Okay.
doesn't matter.
You and your bad
Go.
argument.
Tell me now. Tell me now.
Don't rinse, bro.
Rinse.
You didn't even
He was wrong
understand
about
half the
every point he made.
conversation.
You don't even know model. You have no idea what model
No,
logic is.
no,
How can you make claims you don't know
Learn a
what
lesson.
you're talking about?
Wait,
You're
you
already
don't even
let-
understand
let-
half
let-
of the
Learn from the
conversation.
learned ones.
Explain.
What's modal logic? Name me one model
Did I
system.
say I
Bro,
know?
why
Name
does
me
he need
one
to?
model. I don't
So
know.
how can you
Why
say
does
that
he
he got
need
rinsed if you don't
Why does
understand
he
the
need to?
context?
As if you know model people.
He's running
But
away
you don't
now.
understand the
He's
stuff that he was saying.
No
away.
one's running away. No one's running away.
He's running away, bro. I made a.
I just don't like the fact that he's saying
let's-
he knows more
no.
things about people that obviously know
Who
more.
cares, bro?
It doesn't matter.
Who cares? You don't like that? Who
It doesn't
cares? You what you like?
matter.
Look, I'm asking a question.
Look,
The postulation is.
look,
Excuse me.
you
Let me
asked me
just.
to finish
Let,
my argument.
no,
Let me finish
let me
my
just say one
argument.
thing, and then you can say.
You're gonna let me speak?
Let me say one thing, and you can say what you want. Let me say one thing, and
Is it
then
gonna
you
be important to the debate?
can I say one thing, and
Is it gonna be
then
important?
can I say one thing, and then
You
you
can,
can.
if it's
It'll
gonna be
take 10
important.
seconds.
Go ahead.
My postulation is that there cannot be a state of affairs where only dependent things exist.
there
You said that.
sufficient
Excuse me.
No,
You
he's saying
said.
there's none.
You said
there is.
that's.
It's behind the PSR.
You said
behind
that.
the PSR.
Am I gonna speak?
Go ahead.
Am I gonna speak? You said that's wrong. Why is it wrong?
Let me say this.
You said it's modal collapse. Why is it modal collapse?
Okay, now you're correct. Now you said what I said. I said it tells a modal collapse.
You said you disagree.
Never said
You
it's
did.
wrong.
You did say you disagree.
I
Go
said I
on.
disagree with the argument.
Yeah, go
because you're
on.
employing what's
So
called
why
a
is the modal
strong
collapse? Why is the
version
modal
of
collapse?
You let me finish?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
saying it's because there is a version of the PSR you're using.
Look, the weak.
Show me how.
Show me how you're using a version of the PSR.
Show me why it collapses. Why is the modal collapse? Why? Why?
Yeah.
Let him say his thing. Why is there modal collapse? Let him say why is the modal collapse. Why? Let him say. Let him say why is the modal collapse. He's trying to run from it. Why is there modal collapse? Why is there a modal collapse? You talked about modalities. You said I don't know what modalities are. Then you talk about David Lewis's modal realism. I've read his books. I know he died in 1965 or whatever.
That's
I know.
a great fact. You know when he died.
I know. Yeah. He's acclaimed as one of the leading philosophers of the 20th
Let me
century.
make this very clear.
Excuse me. I've read his stuff. I know what he's talking about. I understand the distinction between possible worlds, instrumentalism, and realism, and what his position is. I know what you're talking about. Listen.
I'm not talking about David Lewis.
I know, no, but you mentioned it. But so I'm just saying.
But he's
I
not
mentioned it as
talking
an
about
I know.
specific-
But excuse me.
About an example
All I'm
of
saying.
particular
I'm asking you a question now.
Yeah.
You made a claim, bro. Your claim was.
Made a
You
claim.
made
I know I
You
did.
made
I
a
know
claim.
I did. But I'm asking you to disprove
Yeah,
it.
and
You,
I'm
and then
trying to
you
explain
said
it to you,
this. I
and
said
you're not
I'm
trying to
not.
let me speak.
Let me finish. You said it entails my argument. That the postulation that there cannot be a state of affairs where all dependent. There cannot be a state of affairs where only dependent things exist. You said this argument entails modal collapse. How?
Because it presupposes.
It doesn't
the
use the
strong-
language of modality.
It doesn't matter. You're presupposing the strong
Bro,
version
honestly,
of the PSR.
you're wasting my time.
If you look,
Come on,
if you're
bro.
not well versed in the contingency argument, that's just not my
Brother,
fault.
I'm doing a
It's
PhD
not
on
my
it,
fault.
man.
That's not my fault.
Brother, I went to
I'm
Oxford.
sorry,
I
that's
got a
not
bloody
my
thing
fault.
from it, brother. Do you want to see
Wait,
something?
no, you did a
No,
postgrad
hold
at
on.
Oxford. You're not an undergrad.
I done a postgrad in Oxford.
you did a
Brother, don't
postgrad.
tell me I'm not qualified, brother. You guys haven't even got a degree, man. Who are you? Who are you?
Anyone can get a
Go
postgrad
and do
at
it.
Oxford.
Go and do it.
Yeah, I will.
Go and do it.
Yeah, I will. In
Go and
3
do it.
years. I
Or
will in
whatever,
3
man.
years. Yes. I will in 3
You're talking
years.
to me like I'm your younger, bro.
I'm gonna do a
no,
postgrad
Get
at
out of
Oxford
here,
in 3
man.
years.
Tell me now.
Fine.
Speak to me with
How can
respect.
you, like-
Speak to me with respect. Remember one thing. I've been peer reviewed.
That does not matter.
You
in
guys
any
are
sense
lay
whatsoever.
people,
doesn't matter.
underqualified,
You're a lay person,
not
you don't
qualified.
know the
I'm
distinction
not.
between
I'm peer reviewed. I'm peer reviewed. I'm qualified, brother.
Doesn't matter if you're
You're telling me I'm dumb.
There are
I'm
physicists
telling you I've gone
saying
through the
There are
exam.
physicists that
I'm
think
done,
the
bro.
world is flat.
I'm asking you a question. I'm asking a question. You're saying it's modal collapse.
That's not an argument, Ali. That's not an
I'm
argument.
asking a question. Ask a question. My question is, why is it modal collapse?
You guys are jokers, bro.
Why is it modal collapse?
Do you affirm the strong?
Why is it modal collapse?
I'm
Answer the
gonna-
question,
The
man.
So
reason
go through
why.
both the strong and the weak.
Answer.
The reason why.
Oh, why is it modal
I will
collapse?
explain
Why is it modal collapse?
I will explain.
Do you know why?
Do I know why?
Why is it modal collapse?
Yeah,
Why is my argument? Why does it entail a modal collapse?
Because it's about to collapse. That's why.
No. Let me explain.
Yeah.
My argument is this: there cannot be. I'm not even using the language of modality. That's how bad it is. I'm not using the word possibility. These predicates.
You said cannot.
You said cannot. You're saying it's something that cannot occur.
So that means you're saying it's impossible.
So you're
No,
saying
but
it's
yeah, good.
impossible.
It entails.
That's modal language.
Entails.
You're using modal language.
No.
Oh my God.
I said I'm not using the language of it. I'm not saying the entailment.
You're presupposing
It's
the
fine.
modal
Accept it.
modality.
Accept it. Accept
Okay.
it.
So
Accept
you're
it.
using
Accept
modal
it.
language. So what you're saying?
No, I'm not
One
using. No,
concession.
I'm not using
Let's
modal
carry on
language.
some more.
Cannot
Let's get some more
is
concessions.
impossibility.
No, that's not.
modal
No.
language.
Yes, it
Cannot.
is.
No, cannot.
What
No,
are you
no.
What does
speaking
cannot mean?
about?
Cannot.
What does cannot mean?
No, let me explain then. So
Yeah,
it's your
yeah,
question.
yeah. What does cannot mean?
Cannot mean. So there's two kinds of impossibility. If you read any. Hold.
Let him do it.
Look how he's acting.
Let him do it.
You don't act like this unless you're losing. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Brother, there's no winning or losing. What you're saying is wrong.
Okay, brother, you're not in a position to judge. You're not even done a
You
degree.
can, no,
Be
anyone
quiet.
that can
Now, having said
has
that,
a position to judge.
excuse me, my friend,
That is
you're
so
not
false.
in a position
Your
to
opinion
judge.
is wrong.
You're not in a
Any
position to
individual,
judge.
thank you.
You're not in a
Any
position.
individual that can think.
Now let's go back to
have
the
an opinion.
He can do that.
Okay.
He can do that.
Any
No,
individual that can think.
I
have
said,
an opinion.
excuse me,
I
I
can
said,
explain it.
let
I'm
me,
an atheist. I can explain
look, I don't want to be a
Like this, an atheist don't listen.
Ali, I don't want to be a pedant here. I didn't say that my argument doesn't entail modalities. I didn't say that. That you'd be right if you said what it cannot in your specific argument entails an impossibility. I'm not saying that. I said I didn't use the language of
That's fine.
No problem.
What was my response?
Yeah,
If you listen to me, you heard my response.
fine. What I'm saying to you is this: fine, I'll accept for the sake of to move forward with this thing. I'm going to say to you, I'm saying it's impossible for the sake of argument. I am saying yes. I'm going to now use the language of modality. I'm going to use the language of modality to help the situation.
Now,
No problem.
What
No,
type of
no,
modality
excuse me. No,
are
hold
you
on.
using?
Just let me say
I
it.
don't know what
Let
you
me
mean
say
when you-
it. Let me say it. I'm saying it's impossible for there to be a state of affairs where only dependent things exist. Impossibility, the opposite of it is necessity. So obviously the kind of excuse me, man, the kind of modality that I'm using is a negative necessity. I am using that, and that is in the tables and the grids of modal logic. So I'm asking you the question now. Can you disprove that and show me how it works?
Okay.
Disprove it, man. Test the waters.
Within any axiom
Yeah.
of any modal system, you're going to have like 3 of the first modal axioms. Okay? You're
Go
gonna
ahead.
have the K system, you're gonna have the T system,
Okay,
you
yeah.
have the M system.
Why does it lead to modal
Now,
collapse?
the reason why it leads to the modal collapse is because within the K system, there's going to be something called the distribution axiom.
Okay. How does it? Yeah.
Whereby if you have A,
What's A in this
and
situation?
A would be, for example,
Yeah.
the sufficient reason as to why B obtains.
So what? Give me in my argument how that.
In your argument,
Yes.
your conclusion
Yes.
of your argument, because I know you're a theist. And I
No,
you're a
don't say I know
Muslim.
you're a theist.
So you're not a theist?
No, it doesn't matter what I am. No, it doesn't
The
matter.
reason why
You
this
don't
argument-
invoke someone's beliefs. Sorry, you don't invoke.
He invoked my beliefs.
No, it doesn't matter. He's
Then tell
cussing
him
you.
to leave.
No, leave him as he is.
No,
Don't
you're
invoke my
allowing
beliefs.
people to poison the well in the
No,
audience.
excuse me.
You
Hold
also
on.
have a qualification.
Don't invoke my
You
belief
shouldn't go around
system.
people's beliefs and
Deal with the
qualifications
argument. Go.
either.
The argument
Go.
is
Why is it wrong?
this sufficient reason
Yeah.
is going to entail
Yeah.
the fact.
What's the sufficient reason in this situation?
Well, look, in your particular
Yeah.
case, it's going to be God.
I didn't mention the word God
It
once.
doesn't have to.
I didn't use the word God
You're
once.
being disingenuous. Is it or isn't it?
No,
Is it
I'm not being
Of course
disingenuous.
you're being
I didn't use the word God.
You don't have to
I
use the
didn't
word
use the word God.
Wait, hold
I
on.
didn't use the word God.
Okay. Is there a sufficient reason for why that contingent fact obtains?
What contingent fact?
possible.
I didn't use the word contingency in my
Doesn't
articulation.
matter. Do you know what contingent fact is?
Yes, I do know.
What is it? Tell me.
Okay, contingency can be defined in different ways. I'm not going to go to the history of it.
Contingent fact.
No.
What's a contingent
Okay,
fact?
I don't need to tell you because I don't need to tell you.
You just said you
Okay, I'll tell you what. If you want, do you want to know? Do you want to know? Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm
You want to know?
unqualified.
Go get my book Burhan, which has been peer reviewed in Oxford University, and read it.
Great, then just
you're not
quote
trying
Go
to
read
from
that
the
book.
Go read
Go
Just
read that
quote
book.
from the
I'm trying
book.
to show.
Quote
I'm
from the
trying
book.
to show how your
It's free.
argument
It's free.
Quote from the book. Just
free.
quote from the
You don't even want
book.
to follow
Free.
the
I
argument.
have a whole chapter talking about contingency. Whole chapter.
There are terms that you are using.
And the
in
reason,
argument that you
hold
haven't
on.
clarified.
The reason why I haven't used the word, I don't need to define it now, is because I use the word dependency. You haven't used that word once. Use it and test the waters. Go. Use it and test the waters. Go.
First of all, in the definition, before we go on dependency, it
Test
had
the
to
waters.
be contingent in it. You're gonna deny
Test
that?
the waters. Test the waters.
I don't know. Test the
There you
water.
Go.
Stop speaking.
Why is it modal collapse? Why is it modal collapse?
Because sufficient reasons.
He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Necessary reasons.
What's necessary reasons?
Necessary
Which
reasons.
ones? Which ones are those?
Look, either the sufficient
Which
reason,
ones are those?
Either,
Which ones are those?
Either.
Which ones are those? Which ones are those?
Either, meaning either.
Let him say it.
He's
Let him
giving
say it.
actual
Let him say it.
reasons.
It's gonna be.
So I'm not
You
gonna
can
touch it,
ask
don't
a
worry. So when he
contrasted
says
question.
sufficient reasons, he's saying
Huh?
You
either
think
this sufficient
under-
reason or
you-
this
you
sufficient
already
reason.
accepted the
He's actually
PSR
giving you
as
sufficient
being
reasons.
What sufficient reasons are you talking about?
Let me get the
What are you
argument.
talking about?
Let me get the
What are you
argument.
talking about?
I don't even know what you're
Perfect
speaking about because you haven't given me a
Perfect
definition of modality.
Perfect relation.
Look, we can ask
Bro, you're being exposed now.
No,
You're a fraud, you know. You're a fraud, you know.
You don't even know the difference.
You're a fraud, you know.
You have no
You're a fraud, you know.
understanding of the difference
You're a
between
fraud, you know.
strong and weak PSR.
You're a fraud, you know. I don't know the difference, yeah? I know the difference, yeah?
You're not telling me the difference.
You're a fraud, you know. 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 You're a fraud, you know.
I'm a
You're,
fraud.
yeah, you're a
You
fraud.
cannot tell me the distinction
You're a
between
fraud, you
strong and a weak
know.
version.
Why is it wrong? Test the waters. Why is it wrong? Why is it wrong? Why is it wrong?
Then I would
What's the
support the
distinction?
person
Why is it
who
wrong?
does not believe that.
Why is it wrong?
That's fine.
What's the
If a
distinction
Muslim
between strong
says,
and weak?
I don't need to answer your questions. Why is it wrong?
then I would say
Ah,
it's confusing.
فبوهي تلذي كفى. Simple, bro. My argument is there.
Anything what I'm saying.
We're done here. We're done here. Look.
I'm not actually sure about
Ali,
anything. Again,
Ali,
it
he's
doesn't
given
actually
up.
matter the religion.
Ali, he's given up.
Of course you give up.
He's given up,
What else
Ali.
you gonna do?
You said
He's given up.
You're running
He's
away.
given up. He's
You're
given up,
running
man.
away.
Test the waters. Do you want it? Why is it wrong? 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 Why is it wrong?
Are you gonna ask my questions?
I'm answering your question. I'm asking
Are you
you.
asking my questions?
Why is it
Did
wrong?
I say it's wrong?
Why
Did I
is
say it
it?
entails modal collapse?
Why does it entail modal collapse?
Now, look.
Why? Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I can ask a contrastive question,
Which is?
which is why is it the case that it obtains rather than it does not?
What do you mean? What is what? What
Oh my
is
God.
it?
Your
What's
postulate.
the it?
Your postulate.
What's my postulate?
Your postulate.
What's my postulate?
Repeat your postulate.
What's my postulate?
I'm probably gonna misphrase.
He says repeat the postulate again, so you're talking with confidence. You don't even know what I'm talking
I know
about.
what you're
he
talking
cannot-
about.
he- what
Because
you're
What's the
saying
postulate?
is
What's the
every
postulate?
time
Every
he
time
says
I
it, you're
read-
just gonna
What's
say
the
it,
postulate?
so you're gonna use another
Write it
word.
down.
Every time I say it.
Write it down.
Every time I
Write it down.
I'm trying to engage him.
Write it
The
down.
same way that you're speaking
Write
with
it
him, I'm
down.
speaking with him
Rhetoric.
as
Look,
well.
Write
this
it
is
down.
rhetoric.
Okay,
There's no actual argument.
So why is it entail modal collapse? Why did
It's not gonna work on me.
Why?
I debate.
It's already working.
It's not working.
It's already worked.
Nothing has
Furthermore,
worked.
it's done.
Nothing has worked.
It's done.
I think you can see as well because me and I had some conversation.
I think this argument could
I think
collapse.
you know. I think
Why?
I think
Why is it modal collapse?
I've seen so far. You
Why
are
is it
not
collapse?
qualified to talk about this particular.
Oh, really? I'm not qualified.
Yes.
And you are. What's your qualification?
I haven't got a qualification.
Okay, there you go.
And that's okay.
But you're not qualified to talk about this. It doesn't matter.
Really, I've done a PhD on it.
Okay, that's fine.
Oh, it doesn't matter. So what kind of?
Yeah,
What
okay.
do I need to do?
Well, then let's ask a question.
What do I need to do,
Let's
brother?
ask a question. Let's ask a question. First of all, you don't even know what modal collapse is.
So okay,
You don't even know what modal collapse
okay.
is.
Why is it modal collapse?
You don't even know
Why
what
is it
that
modal collapse?
Wait,
Why is it modal collapse?
How can I tell
No,
you
no.
what that
Why?
is if you
Why?
don't know what it is?
Why?
What's
Why?
modal collapse?
Why is it modal
What is
collapse?
a modal collapse?
You
Well,
are a
no.
model collapse.
No,
You are a model
How old
collapse.
are you?
No, he's
no,
not.
tell me, why is it modal collapse?
Then you're
How does it
saying
entail
he's
modal collapse?
necessity. Then you're saying he's necessity.
That's a grown man.
Why is it modal collapse?
That's a grown man.
Why is it modal collapse? Why is it modal collapse?
What is modal collapse?
Why is it modal collapse? Why?
I can't even explain it to you if you don't even know what it
It
is.
doesn't make sense.
Look,
You're just saying
explain
that
it
he's
to
I'm
me.
unqualified.
Yeah, go on.
I said he's trying to say that
Teach
there's only
me like an ignoramus. Teach me like I'm ignoramus. Go ahead. Teach me like I'm ignoramus. Teach me like I'm him. Go ahead. Teach me like. Go. Tell me what you mean by modal collapse and tell me why it's modal collapse.
I've
Go.
actually already explained to you what modal collapse
Go.
is.
Say it again.
But
Say it again.
But you're the
No, but you're the one using the words.
But
Go
you're
on.
qualified. But you're qualified.
Use the word.
But you're big Mohammed.
Use the word.
You're big Mohammed.
Use the word.
You're the qualified.
Why is it modal collapse?
Before the atheists all the time.
Okay.
I've literally
Let's-
heard you
let-
say,
let-
give
why
it
is it
enough
modal
preparation. Because you can look.
Why is it modal
I'm sorry.
collapse?
No.
Why?
You
Why?
said give it enough preparation. You can.
I beg you
fold
do.
Any
I beg you tell me. I beg you tell me why it's
You're
modal.
struggling to fold little old me.
Yeah, you are little. Why is it modal collapse? Why is it modal? Why is it modal collapse?
He's saying
Why is it modal collapse?
contingency argument.
Yeah.
If you let me explain.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Because sufficient reasons entail
You said that
what
I
they
read
explain.
What is the modal collapse? What?
Wait, I just told you
Yeah.
sufficient reasons entail what they explain. If the sufficient reason is an essential property of, let's just say, predicate A, or
What's predicated?
let's just say,
What is it?
in your sufficient reason. I'm not, look,
I don't understand what you're saying.
Okay, well then.
No, break it down. No, break it down. I don't understand what you're saying.
Is there not a sufficient reason as to why the postulate is explained.
It doesn't matter if you're
It's argumentative ad absurdum.
Okay.
So yeah.
You're not engaged.
Yeah, absolutely.
No one's saying that. Ali, we all know that no one's saying that, Ali.
All right, fine. Let's go with it. Yeah, there's sufficient reason. Yeah, there's sufficient reason.
Everyone knows
There's sufficient reason. 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 There's sufficient reason.
Okay. In virtue of the sufficient reason.
Which sufficient reason?
You just said there is one. So I'm saying.
No, hey.
Look, yeah.
No, hold on. Let me explain what I mean by that.
Wait.
Hold on. Yeah.
Remember,
Yeah.
when we're talking about per se, per accidents, causal chains, your position is that there is one thing.
So now you've qualified it.
You're saying.
Now you've qualified it.
Okay, let me clarify. Are you saying that for any chain of causal, for any per se or per accidents chains of causal contingent things?
I'm not saying anything about causality.
I'm asking you a question.
But I'm answering your question. I'm saying I didn't say anything about causality though.
Look, okay, cool. For any per se or per accidents chain, is there going to be one or more than one thing that explains those things, that explains those chains? Answer my question.
So at the end of it, what's the entailment of the argument?
Hold on, first, I think I'm going too far. Do you know the distinction between per se and per accidents?
Listen, now you're asking me trivial questions.
Okay,
With
so
all due
you don't
respect,
know. So you don't know.
look, if you
So
want
you
to
don't
go
know.
back to my
So you don't
first
know
man,
why. So you don't know why. How can you speak about the contingency argument if you don't know these basic things like per se and
bro,
per
bro, do me a favor. Do me a favor.
I spoke to you 1.5 years ago.
No, Ali, I beg you. Listen, can I tell you something?
You had nothing. Yes, and I couldn't even speak to you because you didn't know
Bro,
what you were
with
talking
all due
about.
respect,
You don't even
bro,
understand
listen.
cardinality
What?
of
Let him say that. Let him say his thing. I'm trying to get your argument.
Let me speak to your teacher. Let me speak to your teacher.
No, don't be rude to him.
Let me speak to your
Don't be
teacher.
rude to him. Don't be rude to him. Don't be rude to him. Don't be rude to him. He's not.
So let me speak to
Bro,
your teacher.
I beg you do me a favor.
You're the new student.
I beg
No one's
you. Unruly.
We don't like you in class. We don't like you in class. We didn't change
How old are
class.
you?
Bro, do me a
Can you tell him to like stop?
Okay, please.
Can you tell him to stop?
Okay, instead of asking me trivial questions and pop questions,
No.
I want to know your argument. I want to know your argument.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, no problem.
If
I
you
don't.
know what I'm saying,
No.
I have to explain things all
Explain
over
it.
again.
Explain it.
But look,
Explain it.
So,
No problem.
so,
Like I'm an ignoramus.
So you're
because
the
remember,
unqualified one in
Yeah,
this
yeah.
innocence,
Oh,
right?
no, I'm not because objectively I've
but
got degrees.
You should
so
know
no,
this.
objectively I've got degrees.
Look, if you have
so
studied, look,
objectively,
if you haven't even gone to
objectively.
university.
Good. So tell
you
me
don't
now.
even know the distinction
So
between
now, are you
person and
attacking me or the
person.
argument?
I'm not. No, I'm not attacking you. I'm
So
attacking
okay,
the
go with the
argument.
argument. Go with the argument.
You're the one that's saying.
Okay, so go with the argument now, please. Test the waters, please. Go on.
I've tested like 20 times.
No, you haven't done it properly.
Look,
I want to know your argument,
Is
please.
there a sufficient reason that explains why the postulate does obtain rather than it does not?
What postulate?
The postulate you just
What's my
your
postulate?
postulate.
Say it.
I'm not going to rephrase it again because you're going to do
No,
some
because no.
sophistic rhetoric.
No.
Oh, you can't even say exactly how I
No,
said it.
no.
I'm not going to go down that rhetoric.
No, because you're saying the postulate.
No one is
Bro,
convinced of your rhetoric.
listen.
Let's talk about
do
the
me a favor.
arguments.
Okay, my argument
Your
is this.
is not good.
Okay, tell me why.
I've told you why.
Why you said it's
I'll
wrong?
say it to you one more time.
Okay, yeah, why?
Is there
Why?
a sufficient reason
That-
as to why
Yeah.
your postulate obtains rather than it does not?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, now
You're using PSR.
given
So,
now you're using a strong version of the PSR.
look.
I hope you know that.
No, hold on.
I hope you know that, everyone. You're using the strong
Okay, fine.
version
Let's
of
go.
the PSR.
No problem. Let's go with it.
Now,
Go.
do
Yeah,
you
go.
know what that entails?
Yes, I do know.
What does it entail?
You're saying it entails modal collapse.
What is it? No.
Explain me how.
What does it entail?
Entails the affirmation of my premise.
Oh
In my opinion.
God, bro, what is this?
It entails the affirmation of my
You're supposed to be
premise.
big
Tell me
and
why
harmony
it's wrong.
Is this the best you have?
Tell me why it's wrong.
The fact that you set a premise, is that what you're saying? You're saying
What?
the affirmation.
No,
You're saying
all I
that
want-
it tells you-
Affirmation entails. What are you
No,
saying?
I think by affirmation it just means it tells that my premise is correct.
That's right.
But that doesn't mean.
Wait. So it's just
That's
analytic. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that
You said
entails
it's
my
analytic.
premise.
Wait.
Correct.
So you're just throwing out analytic statements. Is that what you're doing?
Can you tell me
I can
why
throw
I'm
an
wrong?
analytic statement right now.
By the way,
I can
I'm trying to be
just
I'm trying to be
postulate
sincere with you,
something
bro.
right now.
I'm trying to be sincere with you.
Look,
I'm listening to you
'cause
very
don't even know
carefully.
what you're saying right now.
I don't know what I'm saying.
Yes.
Okay, good.
If you can just throw
Okay,
out
no
Let me
problem.
see.
That's an opinion.
So I'm not an
I
analyst.
want to know, with all due respect, why you said it entails modal collapse.
So
I'm trying to understand that.
So we have agreed.
Can I write it down for you?
Go right down.
Yeah,
Get your
yeah.
notebook out.
I'll get my notebook out.
Take
Yeah.
some notes. Come, look.
Actually, I'm not gonna do that because you said it like that.
I mean, the notebook is there, so he'll do it probably after.
No, I want to treat you with respect right now. I want to see if your argument actually holds the scrutiny. So tell me now. You said, excuse me.
I can provide you actual academic argument.
No, I beg you. I beg you.
Right now and give
One
you the
second.
whole argument.
No, I want to hear this.
Yeah?
You're saying.
So I'm going to give you like maybe like a
What's your
slightly
name again?
version. Rico.
Rico, listen. I have a postulate. My postulate is there cannot be a state of affairs.
No, I'm going to do it like this. Go on, carry on talking. I'm just going to get out my actual argument on my phone. I'm going to read you the whole argument. I'm going to show you why it doesn't why it entails
Alright.
it. Okay?
But my argument is as follows. There cannot be a state of affairs where only dependent things exist. Now, you're saying that entails modal collapse. Now, what do we mean by modalities? my understanding of modalities, please correct me if I'm wrong, is that you've got things like possibility, impossibility, necessity. These are the modalities that I think, when you talk about modalities, that's what I'm thinking about. That's what I understand by modalities. You say possibility is a modality. No, I no problem. That's my understanding. When I write papers, when I read them, that's how I understand the word modality. Modal realism, modal instrumentalism, that's how I understand it. You're saying, no, it's something else. No problem. You tell me what you mean by modality. You tell me what you mean by modality. You tell me what you mean by modal collapse. And you tell me what you mean by this entails modal collapse.
I'll give you all of the ones that I've written
Please.
down.
Do you mind? Do you see what I've just asked you to do? Because right now we're talking cross purposes.
I can even give you my definition of what I mean by possible.
All right, so start with the first one, so that I know me and you on the same page.
Do you want my definition of impossible?
What's modality? What is modality?
So look, I'll read it out to you.
Yes.
So,
what is a modality?
It's just to ask exactly what we mean by something being necessary or possible or contingent.
So that's what I was just saying, right?
Okay.
So
Now,
the modalities are
now,
possibility, necessity, impossibility.
No, you're giving synonyms that will describe.
They're not synonyms.
Now look.
No,
What we
synonyms are-
mean.
They're not synonyms.
Hold
Go
on.
ahead.
Well, when I say so,
Now, what
Just
we
let him say.
mean
Yes,
by
please.
modality
Yeah.
is going to be entailed by a particular view in modal logic that we have.
No problem.
Now, I'll give you some examples.
Okay, no,
you
but-
have modal realism. You
Yes.
have modal fictionalism. And
Yes.
You have modal
Combinationalism.
Combinationalism.
Yeah, I've got
Those
you.
are three different modalities.
No, but hold on.
Now hold
No,
on.
Yeah, fine, hold on.
Now, given that they are different modalities,
No, but hold on.
Hold on. Let me
Yeah.
finish what I'm saying.
Different modalities
Different
apply in different
modalities
ways.
are
But
going
these
to
are more
apply in different
frameworks.
ways. Now, let me give you.
They're
let me give you-
frameworks.
But those
let me give you
frameworks
one.
will apply in
So
different
the
ways.
Aristotelian,
They're more frameworks.
So the Aristotelian causal kind of modality, they're going to say for a non-actual state of affairs S is possible either if S is actual or if something exists with causal power bringing about S. That's going to be an entailment of what they mean when they say possible or necessary. That's going to be their modality.
Okay, fine.
Now when I
So
ask you for
when
your
you-
modality,
yeah.
you have to give me your system
No,
so
no.
I can understand what you're saying. Now if you don't have a modality...
Bro, you're talking.
Hold on.
Let this be a conversation. Let this be a conversation.
I know.
Let this be a
I'm gonna
conversation.
give-
Let this be a
I'm gonna
conversation.
give you what I mean when I say possible.
Bro, it's like he doesn't want to.
You ask a question and you answer. Same.
Bro,
He
listen,
hasn't
I haven't
finished his
finished
statement.
my
He gets to
statement.
finish his statement.
No, but I don't.
You asked me three questions.
do.
okay?
No. I want the first
I want-
question. So what? Can you say it in a sentence? What is modality?
Modality is what we mean and
Yeah.
what is going to be entailed by a particular view that we hold in a modal framework.
Give me an example.
Modal realism. Modal
Okay, see
fictionalism.
that's where the cross purpose is happening. Good that we done this, yeah? Because when you say modality for me, I'm thinking, does he mean possibility, necessity, impossibility?
So those things are going to be...
Fine, these are modalities.
It's going to be defined.
No, hold on, that's how I understand it though.
I understand. But I'm saying...
But you understand
in
it?
terms of the literature...
No, the literature, that's how they use it, bro. They say
in terms of the
modalities.
literature,
They
I
use it like
understand.
this.
Has
But
a
look,
certain
there's going
way
to
of
be
using
nuance.
it.
You have to understand that when we read philosophy...
Okay, whatever, but that's how I read it. In the English language.
Necessity, contingency, and dependency, these things
Are
are
these
modal predicates.
No, but they also use
They are
modalities.
predicates.
I've read it as
They are
modalities.
predicates.
Bro, I'm telling
They are
you.
modalities
I'm telling you.
insofar as
I'm
they make-
no
They are
problem.
modalities
Yeah,
insofar
yeah,
as they
yeah,
are made
yeah, fine,
intelligible
but-
by a framework.
Fine, but
We need
no-
to get specific.
Okay,
So
bro,
they're not
okay.
modalities in
So
themselves.
so
they're not
good.
modalities in themselves.
No, because-
They are predicates
Can we-
that are
bro,
put
can you just
onto
allow
things.
me
So
to-
let me explain to you.
Allow me to come back. Why are you getting frustrated for, bro?
It's just because you're supposed to be like the person that.
But stop saying you're supposed to be.
So it's just really hard.
I'm asking you.
When I talk to people that don't have.
Stop.
go ahead,
Just
go ahead.
do me a favor.
Go ahead.
Me and you are talking cross purposes. If we want to advance the conversation, then we need to know what we're talking about. What I say when I say this, what you say when you say this. You're saying, okay, so good. The frameworks, modal realism, and for example, anti-realism, whatever you want to call it, different terms for it, yeah? That I understand as frameworks. They're different frameworks. You're saying, no, these are modalities. Okay, if you want to call them that, I've not read them as that, no problem. Whatever, I don't care, yeah? But I understand that's what you mean by that. When you say modal collapse, are you talking about realism and anti-realism now?
No,
Okay,
nowhere near
okay, good.
that.
Okay, so good. So when you say modal collapse, what do you mean by that, if you don't mind?
In a modality, we have possibility, we have necessity, we have
impossibility.
contingency,
Yeah.
and impossibility.
Yeah, you got 4.
Now, in a modal collapse, what occurs is that in a world, in a possible world or in all possible worlds, all
Sorry, in a possible world
in
or?
a possible world or in all possible worlds,
Yes.
the modal predicates collapse into one modal predicate.
Now
Which would be-
necessitarianism.
Which could be necessity,
Yeah,
it could
yeah.
be contingency,
Fine,
it
fine.
could be
Oh,
possibility
okay.
or impossibility.
All right, yeah.
That is what a modal collapse is.
Okay,
Now,
so
the
why
specific
is
argument
why is that
you're
wrong?
presenting-
Why is that incoherent?
Now, hold on, it's incoherent to a view that you hold, and
So
also.
depending on the view, it's going
No,
to be
hold on.
like
Hold on.
incompatible.
No, but hold on. It's
Also,
just,
it's gonna be
let me explain
compatible
something.
with particular strong intuitions we have about the nature of reality also. Now,
Say that again.
I can explain those things.
Say that again.
It's going to be incoherent with really strong intuitions that we have about the nature of reality also. So even though, for example, like necessitarianism is going to be entailed by a modal collapse, by a strong PSR, it's going to be incompatible with
So
intuitions
okay,
about-
I think
about
I understand what you're
free will.
bro. I think I understand it now.
Now-
Can I repeat what you're saying? Can I just so I know what you're saying?
Do it, I'm going to give you my whole.
Bro,
argument.
can I just say,
Go ahead,
can I just
go
say,
ahead, go ahead,
bro,
go
please,
ahead.
I beg, I want to understand what you're saying, bro.
Go.
Is what you're saying effectively tantamount to the following? If you have a necessary being in one possible world, you have a necessary being in all possible worlds.
That's true.
That's true.
I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that.
But
But I
he's
don't.
gonna say-
No, hold on, excuse me. That is the ontological argument. Look, excuse me. I'm saying to you, I agree with that. If that's what you're saying, perfect. Now we've got somewhere, bro. I beg you. Look, we started off by saying the following: there cannot be a world. There cannot be a state
There
of
cannot be a
affairs.
state of affairs where everything that exists in the world is contingent.
No, not contingent.
Only-
Only dependent things
Dependent,
exist.
dependent.
Okay,
Yeah,
Only
all right.
dependent things
No,
exist.
hold on.
Can I just ask you a
Please.
Is there a distinction?
Please
between-
allow it. Now, what you said is that when you say modal collapse, now that you've identified what you mean by modal collapse, I actually don't even disagree with you. If there is a necessary being in a possible world, then there is a necessary being in all possible
All
worlds.
possibles. We agree. Now,
Fine.
the
If
question
that's what you mean
is-
by it,
Hold on.
why?
that's
Okay.
not-
So
that's
now
not-
my question is, excuse me. Let me just now that we agree now. Effectively, we agree, brother. We agree now.
No,
Hold
yeah,
on.
yeah.
No.
I'm not granting that it is a necessary being.
I know.
I'm just
Whatever.
saying, given that it would be
Yeah,
one,
yeah,
it would
there would
will
be.
remain true or possible.
I know that. That is the ontological argument. I'm not sure if you're aware of that.
I'm sure. I'm completely aware of that. You've added the
Yeah,
reverse
okay, good.
ontological
All right,
argument.
cool.
So
If
what?
you're-
The ontological argument is hard.
I'm not sure if you're aware of that. You said you are.
Even
That's
answer,
fine.
just use it as an
That's
example.
enough for me. I take your word for it. Tell me why that contradicts my premise. Why? Now that's where the fight is.
Okay, now remember,
That's what the fight is.
Remember what the contingency argument is.
I know
The
what it is.
Contingency argument is an attempt to reason from the fact that contingent objects are unexplained to that something that's not contingent explains them. Now look, if it's the case that necessitarianism is true and a modal collapse follows from that,
Then all those
then
contingent
all
objects have
contingent
to-
predicates become necessary.
Yeah.
Meaning there's no contingency argument.
Oh, I get what you mean. Okay, so
it's
no,
self-defeating.
hold on.
So it's
No,
finish.
hold on.
Halas.
No. Thank you. Nice try. But here's what we will say. There's a response to that.
I understand.
There is a response to that. Because what we're talking about is that you've got a necessary being. We accept there's a necessary being. Now, if it's the case that there's a necessary being, and whatever comes out of that necessary, or whatever is manifest from that necessary being, is also necessary, then there is no contingent things. That's basically what you're saying. Therefore, that's what you mean by modal collapse.
Yeah.
Thank you. Now I understand what he's saying, bro. I'll be honest, I don't
We're
understand.
trying to say the
Okay.
same thing for like 3 hours.
That's been dealt with by our scholars.
How's it been noticed?
Oh yeah, so great. So I've got actually a whole chapter on this in the book. Yeah, you can read it.
Okay.
From one perspective, you're actually right. So whatever comes from the necessary thing is necessary. From one perspective, I'm necessary, you're necessary, and he's necessary. Because anything that comes from the necessary is necessary. But here's the argument. When I say dependent things, I put a little asterisk there. Now listen to this, yeah?
He has to qualify it. doesn't
Now I have to qualify it.
he? Yeah.
Because everything from one perspective is necessary. I accept that.
By supposition maybe?
No, let me explain now. Because now we're getting somewhere.
Sorry.
From another perspective, I'm saying that in abstraction. Now let me explain what I mean by that. You know, you say if P equals Q, P therefore Q, if that's coming from necessary, it must be necessary. I accept from one perspective. That's the thing with the cosmic skeptics, and they understand what I'm saying. I accept from one perspective. From another perspective, I don't accept. What is that other perspective? In abstraction. This bottle in abstraction is not, there's nothing necessary about it. It doesn't have the intrinsic qualities of necessity.
I would
No, do you get it? What I'm saying is
I understand that.
what I'm saying is that dependent things in abstraction are not necessary. They can only be necessary by virtue of another. which is the necessary thing.
So
But that's a wait. Hold on. So that's a particular view of not only dependence but also contingency, right?
Yeah.
What the modal collapse objection? So people like.
Do you understand my point?
Yeah, you're saying that there are two ways in which you can view it. That's what you're saying. Now, the first.
So from one
view-
perspective, I agree
so
with
from
you.
one perspective, he's
Yeah.
arguing that in some sense
Yeah.
everything can be considered as necessary.
Yes.
Now, would it be fair to your position to say that there is no other that this is the best state of affairs that the necessary being could have actualized? Would that be fair to your position?
That's the position of Ghazali.
That's fair. That's fair.
That's
But
not
I'm
my.
asking,
I don't know. I don't have a. Yeah,
Asking-
I'm looking into that.
Yeah, no,
Because
so for example-
that one there is
Yeah.
a good question.
So in my reading of like Ghazali, for instance, right?
Yeah.
Like I would say that Ghazali posits that might be the case, but I don't think, let's say
Yeah,
dogmatically, I don't think that he has to hold to it.
You are right, because there's actually
I know,
there's a
but-
discussion about that.
Yeah, I know,
But no,
but
no.
like,
But
what
what I'm
I'm
saying to
saying
you
is-
is, it's a good question. I don't have an
it's
answer
not
for you
good.
on that one.
No, that's fine.
Because
So-
that one there is actually a good question.
Yeah, but that's what we're talking about when it comes to the. Just please, yeah. So
Yeah,
when it comes
yeah,
to the
yeah.
modal collapse objection, I'm going to use different terms because, by the way, I hate analytic philosophy.
Okay, fine.
Me too.
I'm a scholastic. I'm a scholastic.
Okay, whatever.
But
Yeah.
to do with it when I do
Yeah, we don't
research.
want to use like.
So why are you on his side?
Because you're more familiar with it. What?
Are you not? Are you?
It's not about science. It's not about science. What
But
I'm
this
saying
is
is-
the third way
Yeah, yeah.
of Thomas Aquinas. If
No,
you're a scholastic.
Aquinas,
no,
whoa,
no,
whoa,
no,
so,
no, no,
okay,
no,
as a
no,
Thomist,
no,
right?
Yeah.
Aquinas' third way
Yeah.
would accept, in some sense, necessity by supposition. So, for example, if I said that, boom, your big leg is cut off, yeah? Necessarily, you wouldn't be able to walk. However, if you sit down, necessarily you wouldn't be able to walk either. These are the distinctions that he gives. So there's a certain kind of necessity in the second definition that wouldn't.
That's what I'm
in the first.
saying.
All right. But you're saying, so then you're agreeing with me saying that there is necessity by supposition,
Yes.
not necessity absolutely.
That's right.
Now, this is the issue, though. This is the issue that I would say. I would
That's the
say
third
that.
way.
Yeah,
That's
the third way
bro,
itself.
do me-
The third way has to
no,
be
no,
with-
the entailment of it. I'm saying that, no, bro, can I just tell you something?
Yeah, go on.
The third way of Thomas Aquinas,
Right.
most scholars maintain that it was taken from Ibn Sina.
Yeah, no, I agree
Alright,
that like
so-
Thomas Aquinas,
no,
like
no, I get it.
he
I'm-
references
I'm-
Ibn Sina, but the problem
I
is,
get it, but what I'm just trying to say to you is
Yeah,
this.
go on.
What I'm saying to you here,
Yeah.
is not different from the third way entailment. I'm saying that whatever Thomas Aquinas said on the third way, the entailment of the third way, I follow that. For the most part.
Is the third way distinct from the first way that he makes?
Yeah.
Okay, so I would hold the view that the third way and the first way are mutually intelligible.
Yeah, I agree with that,
no,
but it's distinct
I
because he
would
makes
say
it
that,
different
like,
ways,
but
right?
I'm saying that in a bicondition. The reason why he's saying this ways only in the distinction of reason. So there are like 9 or 10 distinctions that Aquinas gives. So he would say this is in the distinction of reason, which is basically just on the part of the intellect itself rather than in reality. Now that
No, but he distinguishes them himself.
No, he distinguishes them on the part of the reason.
But that's the
reasoner.
argument. I'm making the argument that
No. You're
Aquinas is
misunderstanding what I'm
making
saying.
it.
You're misunderstanding what I'm saying. That's why I'm trying to help you out here. So when it comes to Aquinas, in his thought,
Go on.
when he writes the Summa, he only distinguishes them insofar as a reader can understand them.
It's a massive
He's
book,
not
that one,
saying
isn't it?
that the Summa is incredibly massive.
No one's read that.
No, I was able to, yeah.
The whole thing.
The whole Summa, apart from the supplementum. Apart from the
Really? Yeah.
supplementum.
Well done to you. It's
So
just
the
like that.
Summa-
It's like that big, bro.
No, but again, the Summa it has to be read in a specific way. So there's like Garrigou Lagrange's commentary as well as the Manual tradition, which I'm sure you're familiar with.
No, I'm not familiar with it.
Right, so I'm a Thomist, so this is
Fair
my
enough,
jam,
yeah,
right? Sorry. Apologies. So, I'm actually so sorry. So when it comes to what Aquinas is saying, right, the argument that he's trying to present to you is that when you have, for example, God's creative power, it depends on how you view God's creative power. For example, so the modal collapse objection, I'm going to use it in the way that like modern philosophers such as Craig
in your opinion, how would Aquinas respond to the modal collapse objection?
So Aquinas, so the way that Aquinas would respond to the modal collapse objection is that he would presuppose divine simplicity. What he would say
again?
He would presuppose divine simplicity.
Okay.
So with, I don't know if you accept divine simplicity or not.
In one sense, but go on.
I'm talking about in like the Aristotelian form.
Probably not.
Yeah, exactly.
No, no.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, so keep going.
So when we talk about divine simplicity, for Aquinas, he would say that since the notion that is supplied by active power, which is God's just like second act, that is always in second act rather than first act. So because it's in second act, then we can say that it would be an atemporal action that happens, rather than something that has to exist in time that happens before. So the only necessity can have a necessity by a supposition.
That's
it's
exactly
the same
what I'm
thing
saying.
with people like
That's
Palamas.
exactly. By the way, I affirm that.
But the only way that works is if God is identical to that created act.
No, it's not identical. It's not. I don't agree.
That's the thing. So that
If you have
now
the will of- if you have the will of
gets me on potatoes, right?
No, but hold on.
My particular argument.
No, hold on. Because you don't. That's not true, bro. Because like.
I'm arguing that
That's
if
not
you
true, bro.
don't, so if you say that the creative,
That's not
if you
true.
say
That's
that the
not true,
creative
bro.
act of God,
That's not true, bro. Because what it is
hold
that.
on. I understand that your point
It doesn't
is
have to be identical.
You're going to say that they don't have to. I understand
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
right? So let's walk through because I don't know if half of the people understand what's
Yeah.
being said here, right? It's just me and you, just
Go
me
on,
and
go
you.
on, go on.
Right, cool. when we talk about God's creative power, okay, the creative act, not just the power, right, because that's going to be first act, you're going to define it as first actuality, meaning something that is in act irrelevant to the agent and in potency irrelevant to the effect. The problem with that is that will entail changing God, and so the creative act has to be in second act, which you would agree with. Here's the issue though. If those two things are distinct, now you have two necessary existing things rather than two necessary existences in the, let's say, concrete way.
So,
if that is the case, then the P implies Q relation now comes in.
Okay.
Let's say we have God.
Well, are you saying there's two necessary existences?
I'm not saying that because I would affirm that they are identical. I would take the
So, okay, can I ask you a question? On Thomas Aquinas' view, this bottle, does it exist by necessity?
No.
So what is it? What is it?
It would exist. It would exist contingently. Sorry, my words. It would exist contingently. So
how?
It depends.
Is there any perspective?
I want to answer your question.
Go on,
how?
go on.
Right? No. Again, the question how is warranted, but again, it depends on what school you follow, depending on how you define dependency and contingency.
No, go on.
No, right. In the Thomistic school of thought, we can say contingency would just be argued that considering the quiddity of the thing itself, right, is existence to be applied to it in an actual sense. So for example, if I may, thank you. Bottle of water that he just finished, great by the way, good hygiene. Bottle of water, if you consider the quiddity of the bottle does not have to have actual existence or essay, right?
Yeah.
However, if you consider God, since Aquinas' definition of God is very similar to Avicenna's as well as like other new places, his definition of God is ipsum est subsistence.
But you're not kind of answering my question here, bro.
I am. Just let me finish.
Is this bottle contingent or
yes, but the
necessary?
reason why it's contingent is because when you consider the quiddity of the bottle in itself,
that's exactly what I'm saying.
Existence isn't applied. Now,
all right, so bro, what's your name again?
Sig.
Sid.
S-I-I-G.
Right. Listen.
Yo.
From one perspective, the fact that God, the instantiation of this bottle is because God, the necessary existence, put it into existence.
I agree with that. That's fine.
So is that done necessarily?
Now that
from
depends,
one perspective.
It depends on your view, right?
Yeah.
I would not say even from that. I would say that if this exists, then necessarily God created. If that's what you're saying,
no, the opposite.
That's the thing.
The opposite.
You're saying
if God
exists, He necessarily created that.
Yes.
That's what He's going to say is modal collapse. Now,
no problem.
Now, what type of necessity are you using?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, go.
So the necessity dictated by the will of God.
Oh, no. As in, when you say the term necessity itself, what does that mean? Are you using it in a modal? So, for example, we can have modal necessity where we say that it exists in all possible worlds. So, for example, you would say, God. No. Right, that's what I'm saying. Right. So
this bottle.
Right. So when you say necessity, there are different usages. So
no, I'm not using it in that sense.
Right. So what use are you using?
I'm using it in the sense that it exists necessarily.
You're just saying the word. I'm asking for the
definition.
definition.
But you're saying to me in all possible worlds. Why does that have to be all possible worlds?
Right. No. That's what modal necessity means. So when we talk about.
No, but I'm talking about real in a real sense or in an instrumental sense.
No.
David Lewis sense.
Not with David Lewis. It's more so just to do with.
I want to understand what you're saying.
So like the bottle could have been in a different way, right? That's what we're saying.
So like for example, if I take the bottle of water, right? Yeah, go.
Let me explain the position.
I'm not using
Let me explain the position. And I'm sure, I'm not a Thomist, but I'm pretty sure it's going to have to be similar. It's going to have to be similar.
You're going to try and argue that summa contra gentiles though?
No, I'm saying the following. In abstraction, like you said.
Not necessarily.
You said in essence. I was listening closely to what you're saying, trying to understand it.
Yeah.
In essence, there's no intrinsic attribute in this bottle.
No, there is no existence.
There's no intrinsic attribute in this bottle. There's nothing in this bottle, in essence, which has necessity in it. Okay, you agree with that?
Which has existence in it.
Which has existence in it.
So, for example,
okay, I know what you mean by this. I know what you mean by this.
I need to qualify this, please.
Okay.
So, bro,
go.
I'm coming. So, when it comes to necessity for Aquinas, right, he makes a distinction. I'm sure you're aware of this.
Essence and existence.
Right, but that's in the day.
That's Aristotelian distinction.
Pardon?
What's that guy called that debated Graham Oppie, the Christian guy?
Kuhns? No.
The one who wrote a book on Aristotle and Thomas Aquinas.
Facer. Oh my God, yeah, Ed Facer. But Ed Facer. Okay, so I'm not a Facerian Thomist, right? But when it comes to Aquinas, I'm talking about the work he did.
Facer explains in his book.
Yep.
That Thomas Aquinas, because that's how I understand Thomas Aquinas from Facer.
From Facer. So you're a Facerian Thomist.
No, I'm not a Facerian anything.
So you're understanding Aquinas through Facer.
One of the guys that I look through, yeah?
Right, exactly. You're using Aquinas through
what I'm saying is that he distinguishes between essence and existence, right? Okay. That's notwithstanding the point, because what I'm saying to you, whether or not, he gives the following example. Is there a difference between the circle, the existence of it, and the essence of it?
Yes.
So Thomas, he says that Thomas Aquinas would say that there's the difference is that the essence of the circle is the circularity of it, for example.
Yeah, like the quiddity is this definition.
Yeah, sure.
But in the definition, existence is an entail.
I understand, but what I'm saying is you're kind of moving away from the contingency point. is this bottle contingent on Thomas Aquinas' worldview?
in
Yes,
his
it is.
worldview.
Yes, but okay, from what?
Because again,
Go,
the
go.
Summa is a very big book, but we're referring to the Diente, which I don't know if you've read, right?
No.
Exactly.
I haven't
right.
even read the whole Summa.
I'm telling you about the Diente, right? He made
tell
this at
me.
30 years old when he made this for his Dominican
Go
students.
ahead.
So I'm explaining, right? So the bottle of water, you would consider the bottle of water in its definition. Now, if you consider the definition of the water, existence is not going to be part of the definition, and thus it wouldn't be necessary. That's what he's saying. It's not entailed in the definition of the subject that existence is there. For example, you can conceive of a unicorn without the unicorn having to exist.
Yeah, sure.
Now, for
Doesn't have
God,
ontological
you
sense.
would say this, right? God is necessary because in the definition of God, God is, as Aquinas says, ipsum
No, but
esse subsistence.
I get what you're saying, but you're not.
Existence is entailed in that. If I can finish, please.
I get it, but you're
So
not. You're
with
not dealing with what I'm asking you.
That's why it's
You're not-
contingent.
So
That's why
it's contingent, right? Okay.
That's why.
Okay, so why is there no modal? Why is it not a modal collapse? So you believe in necessary being, right?
Yeah.
Thomas Aquinas believes in necessary being.
Yeah.
So why is it not a modal collapse according to Thomas
Because
Aquinas?
I accept necessity by supposition.
How?
So necessity by supposition with the example I gave before,
Show
the
me.
man and the leg and the
No,
feet.
give me an example of this bottle.
Oh yeah. So
How would that work?
if P then Q, so we're gonna have a one-way relation, right?
Yes.
So if P then Q, if the bottle exists, then necessarily God created it.
Yes.
However, the relation would not work. It's
The
not
opposite way?
biconditional, so
Yeah.
it wouldn't work. However, just because God exists, it would not entail the existence of the bottle.
Good.
But that's only because
But
he
that's
affirms
necessary.
divine
But
simplicity.
I affirm divine simplicity and
But-
God's
no,
creative action is
but-
its second
bro,
act.
with all due respect,
That's fine.
what you've just said there is exactly my position.
But I'm saying
but hold on,
that position.
no, bro, please, because I don't like what you're doing right now.
Oh, what am I doing?
What you're doing is
Yeah.
you understand exactly where I'm coming from, but I feel like there's a big insincerity here. Because look, excuse me.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Thomas
That's not
Aquinas,
what's
excuse
going
me, bro.
on. Yeah, it's fine. That's not what's
All
going
right, excuse me. This bottle, okay, I accept. I'm articulating it in a different way.
on. Yeah, I know.
I'm saying that this bottle, from one perspective, is contingent.
Yes.
Because in abstraction, there's nothing within this bottle.
In abstraction. Oh.
In abstraction, there's nothing within this bottle, nothing within the existence of this bottle, which has necessity within it.
Okay, you're just using necessity as a like.
No problem how I'm articulating the point. Thomas Aquinas would not disagree with what I'm saying
I'm trying
right
to
now.
understand the point.
Thomas
because
Aquinas cannot disagree with what I'm saying right now. Do you understand what I'm
right
saying?
now, no.
But you know what I'm saying, right?
I'm
From
trying to-
another perspective, if P then Q, then P there for Q.
Yeah, P then Q, yeah.
Modus ponens. You're saying it's a one-way relationship of necessity because God's creative act.
Yeah, 'cause we can't
That's
affirm
exactly what I'm saying. I'm saying that from one perspective, it's one way. It's one way. It is because God is necessary. That bottle exists because of God.
Okay.
That's the same thing.
This is the
What's
question.
the difference between what I believe and what you believe?
Because of what the creative action is.
Okay.
So let's break this
Yes.
down. Right. So to what degree do you understand first and second acts, like Aristotle stuff?
No, just please go tell me.
So that
just
I know
go.
like how to like refer to it.
I don't know. Go.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
So first actuality,
Yeah.
we can consider it as just for example, could you close your eyes please? Okay, cool. Your ability to see is going to be what we call first act. You seeing is going to be second actuality.
Okay, is that what it says? Yeah.
Right, yeah, exactly. And people like Palamas say the same thing. The
Who?
intelligent Gregory Palamas.
Okay.
A Greek theologian, very
Okay, go,
intelligent
yeah,
guy, whatever. Point is this though.
What's the point?
The point is that creative act has to be in second actuality. So in order
In what
for
sense?
in order for necessity by supposition has to work,
Yes.
it has to be in second act. So with
How?
actually seeing, right? Otherwise, God moves from potentia to actuality in Himself, which we can't
Wait.
affirm. Yeah, go on.
Well, I don't understand your point.
Oh, right.
Second act meaning what?
In this example, the seeing. So if we apply that to God, we can say that the first act would be God's ability to create. Second act would be God actually creating. Now,
So
here's the
what's
thing. The act of creating, is that a necessary action in itself or a contingent action?
We would say it's determined by the will of God, right? You would agree with that?
The will of God would be His act.
Right, fine.
Right, and that's fine. That's
So what's
fine.
the problem?
The problem is we need to know. So
Where do we differ?
We differ. Well, we don't. Okay, we differ
Yeah.
in the articulation of whether
Excellent,
this
but
creation
you're so-
act. Oh, no. Just
Fine.
We differ.
We don't actually
in,
differ then.
we differ in the understanding of whether the creative act is first or second act. So
How?
you said, and this is the response that you gave.
Go on.
You said that the necessity. So no, you said that the act of creating is just going to be the will of God, right? It's going to be taught by the will of God. Now I understand that point. That does not address the question asked. The act
What did you
of
say?
creation. Yeah, the act of creating itself. The act of creating.
That's a
is
fine.
That,
I mean, so what? Like.
yeah, is that
Yeah.
first actuality?
What does
or
that mean?
Second
What does that
actuality.
mean?
With
What
the
does that
example that I
mean?
used before.
The eyes and see.
The eye
I
and the
don't
seeing.
get you. I don't
Okay,
understand.
okay. So first actuality
Yes.
is. Sorry, if you just could step back a bit. If that's okay.
Sorry?
Just step back a bit. If that's okay. Sorry, I just need some space. Like camera thing on my leg. That's
Okay,
what I'm
okay,
trying to.
yeah.
Yeah. Appreciate that. That's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Thank you. Sorry, if we had chairs, it'd be great, but we don't.
Oh, it's gone.
Do you want to go to place for chairs?
Well, I mean,
We can set the cameras. No one cares. It's fine.
You got time?
We got time.
let's just finish it. Let's finish it. Go on.
my
What do you mean by first act and second act?
So first act,
Is
right?
this an Aristotelian term?
Yeah,
Sorry.
these are Aristotelian terms. Yeah.
Okay, so what do you mean by that?
Yeah, exactly. That's what it explains.
Yeah.
It's fine. So if you're speaking fast, by the way, guys.
No, go on.
So when it comes to first actuality,
Yes.
think of it as the power, ability, dunamis of a thing, right? In Greek, dunamai, right, meaning the ability to do X. In an example, the ability to see. This remains in act even when the ability itself is not being used. That's called first actuality. People like T. Compino will give the example of the fact that this can be actus purus in some sense.
Okay, so I don't understand. Why is this bottle contingent or necessary in your worldview?
It will be contingent.
Okay, excellent. But is it necessary from one perspective? That it's necessary because of God, the necessary.
By supposition only.
Excellent. Same thing.
Right,
I believe in
that's
that. So
fine, that's
I agree. I agree with what you said.
Okay, you agree with what I said?
Okay, so
now I'm gonna say.
So you
that
disagree with him?
Pardon?
You disagree with him?
In what sense?
So look.
So no, hold on. So excuse me. No,
Hold
please.
on.
Do anything.
I'm
No,
saying
I'm
to
just
you-
saying.
no,
So
no,
you.
no.
So
What's
excuse-
going on is
no,
that
please, bro. Please, Rico.
he's
we-
Rico. I'm sick.
Oh, sorry. I apologize.
It's cool. It's
Sid,
cool.
listen to me.
Yeah.
So me and you both believe a
Yeah.
necessary being,
Yep.
and that necessary being placed into the world contingent things, and
Yeah.
those contingent things are necessary from one perspective only because they come from necessary.
Only from
So
supposition.
how would you respond to his modal collapse objection?
Well, I believe in divine simplicity, the creative act is second actuality, and
because
since it's
anything,
temporal time.
because he believes in divine simplicity, anything predicated to God is God.
That's exactly my view. So we
You
agree.
affirm divine
So you
simplicity.
No,
believe
no,
that
no,
God is
no, that's
identical to his creative act?
No, but you don't have
That's
to believe
the
it.
thing.
No,
That's
but
the
that's you didn't explain in your explanation.
I tried to, but then you said, brother, please.
No,
That's
but
what
you
did.
said no. You didn't say identicality. You didn't use the word identicality.
I didn't do that, but I said,
Where
I said it in an
where does-
absolute
wait,
sense.
I want to know this because I've read the Summa, or at least the third way, and the
How
first
much
way.
of the Summa have you read?
No, about 200 pages.
No,
300
as in
pages.
like how many questions?
I only read the bit where
You
he
know,
was.
there's prima pars, the good
No,
notes,
I
the
didn't read all that
parties.
stuff. I read
Right, so
the
you just
theodicy.
Don't say 200 pages, like different translations. I don't really understand.
I
Just say
don't
like.
know. You asked me a question of how much I read.
If someone says, for example, how much of a for example, if I say how much of Augustus De Trinitas have I read, I'll be like 15 chapters.
I don't know. I don't know how many chapters. I just read the ways, innit? Where
Oh, okay,
talk
so
about
you
first
just
way,
so
second
you,
way,
you
third way,
haven't
fourth.
passed
All of
question
that. No,
three.
no, no,
You
no.
haven't passed question 3. That's fine.
I don't know if it's question 3 or
Is
question
it question
4.
2? It's fine.
Is it question 2?
Question 2, yeah. We
can't
talk about the
remember.
existence of God is demonstrable, then he gives out.
I think I passed that, bro.
So then you're probably on like, have you got to the perfections of God yet?
I can't remember.
Right.
Yeah, perfections of God. Yeah.
Right. So then
Yes.
you're around question 4, right? Just
I haven't. Yeah, and that and the theodicy bit. Anyway,
Yeah, simplicity, yeah.
go back to the point.
Yeah.
My question is this:
Yeah.
you believe? You said identicality.
No, you said I didn't use that. Remember?
Okay, so can you explain what you mean by identicality?
I didn't use it, so I'm not explaining it. I didn't use it. You did.
Oh, okay, good. So you don't believe that God has to be identical to His creation?
Oh, I can use the term now because you want me to
Yeah.
clarify.
Do you believe that God is identical to His creation?
No.
Okay. So then we don't disagree in anything.
No, we don't
On this
disagree.
point.
We don't disagree on this point.
So why
however,
are you? So can I ask you a question?
You're
bro?
gonna say why am I arguing against you?
Yeah. Why? Yeah.
Yeah, because I think that maybe there may be certain entailments of your position
Yeah.
that were different from mine.
No, but I'm saying that I am sympathetic to Aquinas' third way. So why are you unsympathetic to my articulation of that?
Because in Aquinas' third way,
Yeah.
God identifies. Aquinas identifies God as just existence itself, which you understand. So hold on. So this is important.
Wajib
right?
al-wujud.
Huh?
That's exactly what Ibn Sina says. Wajib
Yeah,
al-wujud.
right. But you would agree with me that in your articulation, wujud is a genus. Wujud, existence is a genus.
Yeah.
Right. Aquinas believes that existence is not a genus. God is not contained in such, so he disagrees.
Yeah, that's Ibn
with
Taymiyyah's
you.
view.
Right, I understand that's Ibn Taymiyyah's view, and that's fine. People
Okay,
like
so
to
no,
stand
I'm just saying I don't care. Like that's semantical. That doesn't
That's
change
not-
it.
that's not semantical.
No,
If
but
it's
hey,
a
bro,
genus-
full due respect. Full due respect.
If
Full
it's a
due-
genus, it's composite. That's the problem.
Exactly. And if it's composite, then it's
Then
contingent.
it's finite,
and if
right?
it's contingent,
Yeah,
then it
that is
rejects
no.
the-
But
That's
then,
why you
no,
have
no,
certain
can
philosophers that
I
say
respond?
God doesn't exist
Can I
as
respond?
wujud in a genus.
Can I respond?
Yeah, go on.
What do you call it? The nominalist response?
Oh,
would
you're a
be that-
nominalist?
I'm sympathetic to the opinion.
Fairs.
Okay.
You seem not to be committed to a position, but
Nah.
that's very smart. That's very smart.
No, I'm.
I wouldn't do the same thing. I would just say
Bro,
like.
I'm sympathetic to the opinion.
I get you.
What Ibn Taymiyyah responds to this, he says that when you say that wajib al-wujud is a composite because it's, they call it, what do you call it, jins and fasl or whatever, yeah? Which is that genus and this is two
Genus
things.
and species, right.
Yeah, genus and species, right?
Yeah.
So he responds that it's only like that in the mind. It doesn't. It's not like that as an ontological existence. Ontologically, it's not really like that. It's not a composite ontologically.
So then they're not distinct outside of the mind.
Pardon?
So again, like you're breaking down Ibn Taymiyyah very well. By the way, Ibn Taymiyyah says different things when it comes to applying it to God.
No, I'm just saying to you, but I'm just saying to you that
I know what you just
that
said.
doesn't. It's inconsequential to the point. The point is this.
So then you didn't need to mention it.
No, I'm only mentioning this to tell you there's difference of opinion within Islam.
I know.
I'm only saying to you,
Yeah.
right?
What was talking about your position?
My position is as follows, yeah? This bottle is contingent.
Okay.
You agree with that?
Yeah.
But it's necessary from one perspective. You agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay, he said that entails modal collapse.
Is that what you're saying?
No. So look, given that the reason why his position is a bit different from yours.
Yeah, go on, tell me what you think.
Two things. One, he's a classical theist, right? So he believes that God isn't a being among beings, that God is being.
It's a.
God doesn't even have desires in his world.
What's that got to do with anything, bro?
I'll tell you why.
How does that sorry, no.
So God isn't an agent in his view. So when we say, so the reason why
this seems
hold on.
This doesn't seem right,
I'll
bro.
explain to you why my particular.
It seems like a state almost.
No. Look, the reason why it doesn't
I'll be
work
honest with
against his particular position, which I'm still studying, I'm still looking into, I'm still trying to. Like,
Wait, so why is it not modal collapse? What he said?
Because.
Okay, so excuse me. Let me ask you a very specific question. You've read Thomas Aquinas' Third Way.
No, all of it. Well, I mean, I've read like some of this. Yes.
Okay, can you summarize it?
The third way?
Yes.
The Deonte.
No. The Diente argument is the strongest one.
Can you summarize the third way?
I'm gonna try and make sure it's distinct from the first one.
No,
right?
go on.
Okay, arguing for motion. I think he's gonna be arguing for. Oh, right. So essentially.
Anything that's an act.
No. He's gonna be like.
No, that's the second way.
No.
That's the second way.
No, that's the argument from efficient cause. No. That's argument from efficient cause. Argument from.
What's the third way?
Possibility and necessity.
That's the
what
third way.
I know. I'm just trying to make sure that's distinct from the first way
Go on.
because they're so similar.
No, you're a Thomas. This is easy. Go on.
Yeah, no. It's not easy to distinguish them unless you really think.
Got you. What's the third way?
Just give me a second.
Yeah.
So, for anything that exists, it is either possible or necessary. That's what he wants to prove. But he has to prove that necessary things can exist in the first place. So what he does...
No.
He has to prove that necessary things
No,
can
he
exist.
doesn't do this. He
does.
doesn't. No, he doesn't.
I can pull this in right now.
No, hold on. Let me. Can we just hold on?
Hold on. That's really important.
Hold on, bro.
So
hold on, bro.
Yeah, no. Speak.
He starts exactly in the same way that Avicenna does. He doesn't try and prove a necessary thing in the beginning.
I didn't say that.
You said he has to prove that necessary things exist in the first place. Contingent things.
Yeah.
He has to prove contingent things start in the first place.
No. He has to prove that there aren't only just contingent things. That's what he's trying to prove, right?
Yeah, but he does that. He argues ad absurdum.
Yeah, exactly. He
Okay,
argues
how?
from the
How?
impossibility of the contrary. Right.
How?
So he says, right, that let us say that there are only contingent things that exist.
Yes.
Right?
Oh! Sorry, bro.
What was the
No, but it just sounds so similar to something I heard today. Go on.
What was the thing you heard today?
Go on, just say
It's
it.
postulation. But
Oh,
there's a
is that what
distinction
he's trying to
because of
say?
particular
Go on,
views you hold.
just go on.
Yeah.
God being an
So he's
agent,
gonna
having
say that
desires.
for anything. Hold on. I actually want to read it in the Summa. Hold on.
Why are you finding out?
By the way, I'm be honest with you guys. I think this is a bit disingenuous, man.
Oh, why do you think it is?
Because I don't know, like you accept his version of the third way.
No. I'm not. Remember,
I don't use the third way. I use the Deonte.
So look, I'm still looking into the Deonte.
It's definitely not. It's not.
So look, there's obviously you're
Can
aware
you
that
read
there
it?
are- there are
Yeah,
different
I'm just
versions.
getting it. This is Article 3. So
There's different
the
versions.
third
of
way.
the
This is why
position.
I tried to get the third way because there are certain terms that he used to make it distinct from the first
Go on,
way.
go,
It's very
go.
hard. So basically, we find in things that are possible to be, but the way he defines possibility is that they are generatable or corruptible.
Yes.
Does
It's
Ibn Sina
Averroes.
use the same thing?
No, that's Averroes.
Oh, Ibn Rushd. Yeah, Ibn Rushd. Right. Really cool philosopher, by the way. I like it.
Okay, keep going.
So we find the nature of things that are possible to be and not to be, and consequently they are possible to be and not to be. So just establishing existing possible things. Now, it is impossible for contingent things to always exist because in the definition of it, at some time they could have not existed or they didn't exist. And so it is impossible for these things always to exist, for that which is possible not to be at some time isn't existing. So let's say that there was a time where there was no contingent things, there would be nothing. But evidently there is something,
So,
therefore there would be necessary
Beautiful.
things.
So he's saying that it's impossible for there to be a situation where there's only contingent things that
But
exist.
by necessary, he's also including angels. So, for example, when Aquinas talks about
No, but do you agree with that? He's trying to show the impossibility of the existence of only contingent things. Would you agree with that?
that he's trying to show the possibility.
Yes, he's showing the impossibility.
Oh, impossibility. Yes.
Of only contingent things.
Yes.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, that's a sufficient reason
No, what is the sufficient reason?
that it is impossible.
Why is it impossible?
Right. The reason why it's impossible is he's using a proof by contradiction.
Yes.
So let's say that we assume that this thing is the case. So assume the contrary is the case. The contrary would entail a contradiction, and thus we would enter explosion. So we can't tell that view.
Do you agree with this?
That's the sufficient reason.
Thank you. I agree with that.
That's the sufficient reason.
I agree with that argument.
Is that a sufficient reason?
That's what, yeah, this is.
So
I agree with that
then-
argument.
But guess what?
We
guess
all
what?
agree with the same argument.
Wait, guess
Do
what? Guess
we
what?
really?
Wait,
Yes,
hold
that's my
on. But
argument.
guess what?
That is exactly what I've been
guess
saying.
what? That means that as a Thomist, but that means
That's
guess
exactly
what?
what I'm
Hold on. Guess what?
Yeah.
That means Aquinas used
No,
the
but-
PSR.
No problem.
There you
Right,
go,
that's what we're
there
saying.
you go.
No problem.
Now, let's
But
just
can
clarify
I-
what you said before, right? Hold on.
Yeah. Bro, there's nothing.
Is it
There's nothing
possible?
to it. There's
Is it
nothing to it
possible?
now.
Hold on.
There's
Is
nothing
it
to it now.
possible? Is it possible that there are PSR defiant things? That there are things that defy the PSR.
If you ask me, bro.
Yeah.
No, I don't believe that.
Right. Thank you. And
No,
then
I don't believe that. Yeah, I
right.
don't. No, but can I tell you?
Yeah.
What I was saying about the PSR thing
Yeah.
is that my articulation argument didn't have the same language as Leibniz. That's what I was saying.
We agree.
We know. We
Okay.
already understood that like
All
3
right,
hours ago.
cool,
But
cool,
we're
cool.
saying that you
But-
still
but
had to
ju-
use
but
the
ju-
PSR. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, fine. I get what you're saying, and I
Thank
don't disagree.
you.
I don't disagree with that.
I know, but like
no,
this
but,
is
no, but
why,
I
like,
did. I did mention that to him, bro.
I
said so-
agree. I've said it.
You agree with that?
Yeah.
So can we? I didn't think it would end this way. I have to say.
I didn't think it would end in the way that we can now get to the implication, right?
Bro,
the
no, no, no.
implication
No, no,
is going
this
to
is
be.
where we get to the necessary being,
the
right?
implication.
No, okay,
No, but it's necessary being.
So the
distinction-
implication of
Okay, so- okay,
of Aquinas is argument with necessary being, but now we're getting
No,
into.
excuse me. The implication, according to Aquinas, the existence of a necessary thing. Correct?
No, that's correct. Of necessary
Okay.
things in general, yes.
No.
Wait, hold on.
Yes.
No.
No.
Aquinas clearly goes for one, and he clearly goes for one.
No.
Because
That's
this is where we
false.
have
That's
like a
false. That's false. That's false.
It's
That's
not.
false.
So we have a quantified shift factor.
And the reason I
Where-
understand that is because angels, even by Facebook, and you've read Facebook, right?
No, you're right.
He says that angels are necessary, and he has to distinguish between necessary per aliud and necessary per se.
That's what I was saying, brother. Can I tell you something? Yeah.
Go.
What you just what's the other one?
Per aliud.
Per aliud is
Yes.
what I was saying in abstraction versus
No.
per se is by.
No.
I beg you, just wait. I
Per
beg you, just
aliud
wait.
is not an abstraction.
No, I'm not saying per se is. I'm saying that per se.
No,
wait.
no.
It's fine.
Wait. You know, you said it's presupposed that
Yeah.
it's necessity, it's presupposition. Bro, we're using
Supposition.
through supposition.
Yeah.
We're using different language, but we're saying the same thing. You have to appreciate this.
Okay, I'm appreciating the
No,
fact
no,
that you're agreeing with me.
No,
and I appreciate
listen
that.
to
but
me.
here's the
Listen to
problem.
me.
Brother, come on.
Listen to me. I appreciate one point. Maybe the third way by itself, I don't think that Thomas Aquinas, he expected one of those arguments to be sufficient by themselves.
Actually,
I don't think so. I think I have read secondary source material that indicates, might be wrong.
such as who?
Faisal, I think, but I might be wrong. But let me double check. It's in my book though. But I think Faisal, I have to double check.
Faisal
no.
says that the arguments can be taken in isolation, but it's more powerful to
It's
put them
when you put them together.
Right, but this is important, this is
let me
important.
just make the point.
Yes, fine.
I'm saying the following.
Yeah.
Even if one agrees, fine. He makes these distinctions.
Yeah.
I do strongly believe that in the third way, he's arguing for one necessary existence.
That's fine.
Fine.
In its end, yes.
Fine.
Or one per se existence.
Is that going to
Beautiful.
be entailed by the argument alone?
Hold on. This is why
I
we're
think so.
trying to, because again, we're
I
having
think
this,
so.
what we're doing is a
But I'm not
symposium,
Thomas.
we're not
I'm not Thomas.
I know you're not.
Yeah,
I know
sure.
you're not. The
Fine,
reason
fine.
why I'm
So I don't know
referencing
about
the
that.
language-
So
Okay, look.
could not be. But the point is this: the most important point of this discussion is the following. We have now come to a conclusion that the third way, okay, he agrees with the argument. I agree
He
with that.
agrees that the argument would be valid.
Fine.
It's valid.
Okay.
I'm just saying
That's
it's
the
different.
the argument. It can be summarized as there cannot be contingent things alone in existence. I said there cannot be dependent things alone in existence. Fine, contingent things, dependent things. You agree with that, yeah?
Well, you said there's a difference.
No, but
between-
fine, no problem.
me just quickly-
But I'm just saying, do you agree with that?
Just
that there can't be dependent things
Yeah,
only.
yeah.
Yeah, but that's on my schema. Though.
No problem. But do you agree with it?
Yeah, on my schema.
Accept it. Okay, there cannot be contingent things alone.
On my schema, yes.
You agree with that?
On my schema,
Yeah,
yeah.
sure. All right, you agree with that? Thank you. I'm gonna go pray now because we're done.
No, we're not done.
I need to pray. I need to pray.
Hold on.
Oh, you
Before
agree.
you go and pray, this is
I
why you
need to
need
pray because I haven't prayed Asr yet. It's
Before
Maghrib
you
coming.
go, this is before you go.
I need to pray just 5 minutes.
Before you
I haven't
go,
prayed Asr.
That's fine,
I'll do it here. I'll do it here.
That's fine,
I'll do it here.
No, it's
I
fine.
need to pray
What's the
Asr. Stay
time?
as you
What's the
are.
time? Look, I missed my Vespa. Here's the problem though.
Can I
I missed my
finish?
Vespa, but it's fine. Look,
Give me-
hold
give me 1 minute. I'll
on.
be
The
right-
reason
I'll be
why
in
his
front of you.
argument works is because there is a certain view of the PSR that you hold. That's why he was trying to get to the entire
he agrees with me now.
No, I didn't.
He agrees with me.
That's not what's going on. That's not what's going on.
He doesn't want it to go.
I know that.
Bro, he
That's
agrees
not
fully.
what's going on. No, that's not what's
We
going on.
both agree fully.
That's not what's going on.
We agree.
Your view entails a certain view of the PSR. That's the problem.
No problem.
Right? So
What is
because
that?
your view entails
What is that one?
either a strong or a weak version
Can I
of
have
the
that?
PSR,
Can I have that?
right? So,
Oh yeah, can I get a Muslim one? Get a Muslim one. I'll just pray first and then we can finish this off.
It's fine.
I'm happy that you.
I don't need to pray in front of people. I need to go and pray my best.
No, not you. You don't need to pray.
Yeah, I know.
I need to pray.
No, I need to pray.
Okay, you can pray.
I'm gonna go and pray my best because I'm supposed to go into my inner room. That's priceless. That's fine. I'm gonna go and pray my best.
I haven't prayed Basta yet.
Huh?
You have to pray
Yeah, I
5
need to
times.
pray
a day. No, can someone put us? Can you put that in front of me, please, bro?